in the winter. When I drive on I-70, I see nothing but pickups all in the ditches, and my little Geo just keeps on going.
That's awesome. And by the way, all of those of you watching on YouTube, sorry, I had a brain fart just now and forgot to start the camera. So we just now started, so you're going to miss about 10 minutes or so of the show this morning. But hey, life is good. You can always listen to the podcast and catch the rest of it. But Jay, hey, appreciate you calling in. Enjoy your afternoon. If there's anything else you need, by all means, give us a call, 303-477-5600. We're going to go to a break real quick. Come right back. Listen to these commercials. I say that all the time, but it's very important. The folks that you hear, specifically on this show, make this show happen every single week. So pay attention, use them, don't go away. We're going to be back next. Talk to John in Boulder. He's got an oil question, and Leonard's got a O2 Impreza tire question. I'm your host, John Rush, with Ken Rackley and Ray Seidel. We'll be back on Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants.
I have two people that I've met.
Or model.
Michael Schumacher and AJ Foyt.
Need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado...
I met Michael Schumacher at Monaco when I was in the Navy, and then I met AJ Foyt when he was here for the Grand Prix of Denver.
Along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you,
you got it.
Drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
We've all been there. You're under the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right part store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Have you ever wished there was a place you could take your car, put it on a lift, and work on it yourself? My name is Craig Wallace, owner of DIY Auto Repair Shops. We have the lift, the tools, and the expertise. We offer a multi-tier program that allows you to do it yourself, technically assisted, or we can fix it for you. Check us out online at DIYAutoRepairShops.com or give us a call at 303-429-4000. Again, that's 303-429-4000. Let us know you heard about DIY on Drive Radio, and you'll receive 50% off your first DIY hour. We look forward to helping you succeed repairing and maintaining your car.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in northern Colorado? At Fort Collins 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From diesel pickups to economy cars, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. And they combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to Fort Collins 4x4, located just a few blocks north of Old Town on College Avenue in Hemlock. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at Fort Collins 4x4 are committed to providing the professional and personal service you're looking for. Give them a call at 970-482-5500. 970-482-5500. Check them out on the web at FortCollins4x4.com or follow them on Facebook at FortCollins4x4.com.
I'll let that one play for just a second. So, one line open, 303-477-5600, and we're going to go right to the phones. You guys have been holding for a little bit. I appreciate that. John in Boulder, what's going on, John?
Well, yeah, I was at my auto store this morning and getting ready to change oil. I see they've got a new synthetic oil that's made from natural gas. Is that good, better, best? What's any difference?
It's very good. It's very, very good oil, actually. Here's the pros and cons of it. It's a very good oil. It is made from natural gas. It is not made in the USA. All of the natural gas oil that you see are natural gas synthetic oil. So synthetic oil made from natural gas comes from the Middle East somewhere. We don't know exactly where, but one of the refineries in the Middle East is where they actually do it, which is very interesting. We have more natural gas here, and yet Shell, because they're a national, worldwide company, has chosen to actually have that made over there. Now, will they bring that here? I don't know. I need to get somebody from Shell probably on and kind of talk through that. But right now, all of that comes from the Middle East. Now, I'm not saying that's good, bad, or otherwise. It's just information you need to know. It is very good oil.
So it's like I've been running Mobile One, switching over. It's like $15 cheaper. I mean, that's probably promotional, but
it could be, and of course it may be a little cheaper because natural gas is cheaper, of course. So that could be where some of the cost savings comes from. But to my knowledge, all the studying I've done, now I want to make a disclaimer: I've never touched the oil. I've never ran it in a vehicle. I cannot give a testimonial on it. But everything I've read, the people that I've talked to, I would see no reason not to use it.
Right. Just make sure that it has the specs for your vehicle on the oil.
Right.
I mean,
right ad packs.
Right ad packs. If it's dextrose or whatever it needs to be, make sure if that's on there, then it wouldn't be a problem.
What are you driving, John?
It's a Ford Focus 2007. It's 5W20. I've been running Mobile One for 5 years.
I mean, I would not be afraid to run that oil. I mean, I just haven't yet. It's just the way I do our fleet, et cetera. It's just not something I have easy access to. And again, I mean, if some of you guys are being a little more conscious on what you're doing as far as the U.S. economy, et cetera, goes. I mean, just so everybody knows, that oil is not made in the USA, where the majority of the other motor oils you're using are.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, well, cool. I appreciate the information.
You're very welcome, John. Thank you for calling. And by the way, great question, because you are going to see more of that as that technology improves and other companies start to come online building that type of oil. And as we've talked about a lot, in fact, I did a show this last week. I talked a little bit about that on Wednesday. We have well over 1.5 trillion, however they measure natural gas, units, cubics, whatever, however they. I don't have that information in front of me, but we have as much natural gas as I think most. In fact, I think we have the most over all the other countries. Now, they may not have done the same exploration, et cetera, that we have, but we have not just a ton. We have trillions of units of it here in the U.S. So will we continue to find uses for natural gas? I'm one that says, after talking to the folks at Toyota and hydrogen technology that they're working on, et cetera, I think my own prediction is we will see the use of oil as time goes by flat out just taper off, because you'll see other things come online where you just won't use as much of it. Now, will we always use oil? Of course we will, because of plastics and things along those lines. But will we see it start to taper back? My prediction is yes, at some point in time we will. Leonard in Aurora, what's going on today? Hello, Leonard, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Great, what can we do for you?
A question about tires. I have a 2002 Subaru Impreza with Blizzak snow tires.
Okay.
And the last time that Firestone took the tires off, they said that one of the tires had 3/32 of an inch less tread than the other three. They said that if I mount and use those tires, it could cause damage to my transfer case or transmission. And they will not mount the tires for me again without me signing a waiver allowing them to...
Yeah, that's probably true. Allowing them to do that. In other words, they don't want to take liability for putting tires on the vehicle that may cause damage, and they are correct.
Exactly. Okay, so that is pretty critical.
3/32 is quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, is that across the whole face of the tire, or just on the edges, or I guess that?
Yeah. Have you looked at the tire?
No, I haven't.
And what size? I mean, what is the actual size of the tire? I mean, 17-inch or 19?
No, I think they're 16-inch.
16.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, my thought is you really need to find out what the actual diameter of that tire is and how much 3/32.
Yeah, and
if a smaller tire might not be a problem, but
the best way to do that, by the way, everybody else listening. So here's the way to properly measure that. By the way, you need to get them aired up, so they have to be mounted, aired up. Then with the proper pressure, and then you take the best way to measure this is with a seamstress tape. There's, you can do all sorts. You can take a string and measure it, etc. But just buying at Walmart, buying a $2 seamstress tape is the best way to do that. So
it's cloth tape.
Yeah, it's a cloth tape where you can wrap around it much easier. There's no kinks or anything. And you don't want, especially on an all-wheel drive vehicle, you don't want any more than a half an inch even is a lot. You really want to keep them within a 1/4 inch circumference of each other.
Right, I understand that. Okay.
Now there is something you could try. Now again, this is all at your own risk. You could put all those tires on, mount them up, run about 5 pounds of air pressure more in the other 3 than you are that particular tire, and you may very well, run 5 pounds more in the tire that's the smallest.
Right.
So run it higher pressure than the other 3, and you may get by with that. But again, you're taking a risk when you do.
Right.
And honestly, here's what I would do if it were me. Put those tires you have now on Craigslist, pawn them off, get rid of them, let somebody else take that risk, go out and buy a new set and be set. And then figure out, why does the one have less tread?
Well, and those tires on a non-all-wheel drive car would be fine. They would be totally fine and wouldn't cause any problems.
Somebody else could use it.
Or front-wheel drive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, if they're, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's what my thought would be.
Yeah, no, that's the best way to do it.
And the damage you're doing to your vehicle, there's no way to tell that it's happening or anything along those lines.
Do you know what's caused that one tire to wear off?
I have no idea.
That would be another thing to figure out. Which tire was it when it was mounted on the vehicle?
They didn't tell me.
Left front, right front, etc. I mean, sometimes, depending upon where you're driving, some mountain driving, etc., can scrub one tire more than another. It just depends on you and how you drive and the roads you're on, etc. But I'd want to make sure that alignment is good, four-wheel alignment, not just two fronts, but four-wheel alignment and so on.
Right. Okay, well, that kind of confirms my fears, I guess.
Okay. Well, and sorry, but I think, the way to look at that is tires are a lot cheaper than a mechanical repair on the drivetrain of the Subaru.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, thank you. I appreciate
the information. Thank you so much for calling, and we appreciate it very much. Line's open, by the way, 303-477-5600. Call us. We'll get you right on there. Any question you've got, it doesn't matter what it is, we'll take it, 303-477-5600. And love to hear from somebody on the most famous car person you've ever met. And Ken Rackley said a minute ago that I forgot, it was all 3 of us, and I should have known that. But again, my brain gets full of stuff. But it was me, Ken, and Ray, and we were all out at Bandimers doing a bunch of interviews, and we got Don Gartlitz and the Pro Stock. Alan was
Alan Johnson,
the Pro Stock driver.
What had I been here, I could have chimed in and said, "Hey, I was there too," but I was on Parker Road listening. So
we had a blast. That was a great day. So
yeah.
And I just got a text message from Dorsey Johnson. He thinks that oil that I was talking about a minute ago, so the oil that's coming from natural gas, is Dubai, and I think he's correct. So, Dorsey, you're listening. I think you are correct. I think that's right. All right, let's go to Wayne. Line open, by the way, 303-477-5600. Wayne, what's going on today?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Welcome.
I have a 2002 Subaru Outback with the V6, and it's got a lot of miles on it, about 195,000 miles. And now, when I drive in the mountains, it overheats. And I have to pull over and let it cool down in order to make the climb up by 70. And this is fairly new. In town, it's fine, no matter what the heat is, no matter how hot it is. Your stop-and-go traffic doesn't matter. It doesn't overheat, even in stop-and-go traffic on a really hot day. Just in the mountains on the climb on I-7.
We have run into, and it's kind of hard to say on those, debris between the condenser and the radiator, and it blocks the airflow over the radiator, and the only time you're going to need that extra heat dissipation is, of course, loading it more, driving in the mountains with the air thinner, things along those lines. We have run into that.
You could be hitting a radiator that's starting to plug, or one corner that kind of gets debris or settles in the corner, so the radiator isn't efficient as it normally would be with that kind of miles on it. It's sometimes if you can get your hand in there or an infrared sensor, you can test for that to see if there's a big difference in temperature on the radiator.
Yeah, to Ray and Ken's point, Wayne, I think if it were me, and these are, by the way, everybody else, I can't talk. Everybody else out there listening, these have become a much cheaper thing to buy. In fact, I've seen them at, I've seen them even at some of the discount stores in the $40, $50 range or less. Buy a digital thermometer, so an infrared thermometer. Take that with you, and the next time you're going up the hill and things are starting to overheat like that, pull over and start measuring out where is the actual hot spots. Do you have one spot on the radiator that's really hot? Is all of it hot? Is it just flat out everything, engine, radiator, everything is hot, and that'll kind of give you an indicator as to what's going on.
All right, I have one of those, so I can do that.
That's perfect. And you're not spending any money. You're already there.
Right. The main suspect would be the radiator. With 200,000 miles, it might be starting to get restricted.
Well,
plugged up.
And to Ray's point, they can plug internally to where even when you look down inside the tank, you can't see that.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. You can, everybody else listening, by the way, when they get that many miles on them, you could take it out, you could send it out, you could get it clean, you could try to back flush it, do all those things. The reality is, buy a new radiator.
Yeah.
Yeah, you physically can't get the deposits or the calcium or the...
It becomes part, I mean, just think of it, it just grows on it to the point where it literally becomes part of the metal or the surface itself of the internal tubes of the radiator. It just blocks the flow.
Right.
It's like hardening of the arteries as we old guys get older. That's what old radiators do. Honestly, that's the best description. And there's really, you can't put a stent in. There's nothing else you can do. You do a heart transplant, take the radiator out, put a new one in.
That's right.
Okay, so I'm guessing there's no product or process.
No, there's not.
Yeah, to John's point, those products are basically to get rid of contaminants, which is oil and residue in the antifreeze. They don't remove the hard scales from the radiator.
And again, I hate to relate it to as we get older in our hearts and our veins, etc. But it's very much the same as time goes by. Even with good maintenance, as time goes by, those deposits still build up. And if there's been lack of maintenance, as in the case of even us and our health, if we've not taken good care of ourselves, then we're going to have more plaque and deposits and buildup. And the same is true with the radiator on your car. And over time, it's the only difference is on the car side of the fence, there's nothing you can do with the exception of just replacing it to get that stuff cleaned out.
Yes.
Right. The medical world, they can rotor-root the veins and stent and do some other things to try to help that, but there really isn't anything on a radiator you can do but replace it. The good thing is it's not a human.
Yeah.
And the price has come down.
And the price is cheaper. That's right.
And if it is the radiator, where will I see the overheating?
You'll just see everything hot.
Yeah.
And a temperature differentiation in the radiator itself.
Normally the corner opposite the lower radiator hose is where you want to test the temperature. If that is 20 degrees, 30 degrees cooler than the rest of the radiator, then it's plugged or restricted on that side.
And heat rises, as you know.
Right. All right. Well, I appreciate your help, guys.
You're very welcome. Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And I'll tell you what. So Dorsey sent back in, said it's Qatar. What did I say? Dubai? It's Qatar.
Qatar.
All in roughly the same area. Like I said earlier, somewhere in the Middle East. And Dorsey's texting back in. It's Qatar. But anyways, let's go to a quick break. Don't go away. Roger, stay with us. He's got a 2012 Forester with some transmission fluid questions. Take it away, Matt. We'll be right back. Don't go away. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560. Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
K&N's premium oil filters are very different. They make oil changes easier. K&N's wrench-off oil filters have a 1-inch nut welded on the top, so you can easily change the filter with a wrench or ratchet. And used with a Ziploc freezer bag, you can even remove a K&N oil filter with no oil spillage at all. Another great product from K&N, an American manufacturer since 1969.
Are you driving with the check engine light on? Has that light been going on and off? Arvada West Auto and Truck is here to help you understand what could be wrong. Our technicians are specially trained to handle warning lights. If your vehicle is 1996 or newer, it stores a history that helps us diagnose the problem, even if the warning light is not currently on. Don't wait until your vehicle breaks down and leaves you stranded. Call 303-422-1065. Stop by 11752 West 64th Avenue or visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com, where every question is important.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference.
I swear, people are sometimes real special, I swear.
Drive-radio.com.
I mean, just that last caller we had, he's a real special guy, I tell you. My God. He said that he was one of them diehard race fans that call in and they're saying his name wrong, Don Garlowitz or whatever. It's like, really? Like, seriously?
Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto
It's like,
but we've spent the last 80
I don't know how you're supposed to say it. It's like, I mean, come on, the guy's got his head up someplace that he doesn't really need to have it.
Get the good stuff.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Drive Radio, KLZ 560. I'm your host, John Rush, with Ray Seidel and Ken Rackley, and thanks so much for tuning in. A couple lines open. Call us. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. We did a little history or geographic lesson during the break. They're trying to figure out where Qatar and Dubai are since we're not from that area. And, yeah, it'd be like saying that, it's like saying California and Florida are the same, and no, they're not. They're quite a ways apart. So it's the Middle East, but they're a ways apart. So
across the ocean,
we are across the. We are there. You can still, I think, you could potentially by land get from one to the other, but I think the trip with the airplane or the boat would be the fastest, or the ship would be the fastest. But anyway, let's go to Roger, who's up next. Roger, welcome. What's going on today?
Yeah, I've got a 2012 Subaru Forester. And I wanted to change the transmission fluid in the automatic transmission, and it said you need to use Subaru fluid. And then when I checked the procedure, it said that when you do change it, that you have to bleed the air out of the control valve. And in order to do that, you might need some equipment. I didn't know if that was a do-it-yourselfer thing, or am I going to have to take that to a shop, or what?
Well, let's start with what are you driving, what transmission's in it, and how many miles are on it?
It's got 18,000 miles on it.
And what engine?
It's the 2.5 or.
And is it a regular transmission or a CVT transmission?
It's the regular.
Okay, so it is a regular automatic. Good.
12.
Yeah, I would think, if that were me personally, I would have somebody with a fluid transfer machine do the job versus trying to do that yourself at home.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with the bleed procedure for the Subaru. So yeah,
if you use a flush machine, you wouldn't.
Right, you wouldn't have to do that
because no fluid comes out.
Right,
no air goes in it.
Right, I don't understand. If we're getting the air, why it wouldn't pump it through the system. But you'd have to review the change position or the manual to see what the procedure is.
Yeah, well, I have all data on both my cars, and the do-it-yourself.
Right.
So I always go there for procedure before I ever start anything.
Perfect.
Good
idea. Good for you.
I get into something.
And that's one. And honestly, even as a
it explains to just drain the fluid. Just fill the blood, drain it, and then add fluid back to it, and then it says. That you got to bleed the control valve. So then they go to that part, and it shows that they're hooking up a computer or something to it, and then you have to go through a procedure.
Yeah, they're cycling it is what they're doing.
I have no idea what that was.
Well, again, they might be using a scan tool. So they're basically activating the transmission with the scan tool to bleed the air out of the system.
I mean, what I was going to say a minute ago was even somebody like myself that's, been doing this for a really, really long time, I at home would not attempt to do any kind of a transmission flush at home anymore, not with the modern equipment we've got that you can do a fluid exchange with and just not have any of those issues. It's just not worth the headache.
Well, and a lot of the cars are getting that complicated where you have to have the factory scan tool to do some of the procedures. So, I would be a little leery of that when they're telling you that you need a scan tool or some kind of a tool to bleed the system out.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, I was just wondering if you actually had to do that, or sometimes there's an easier way.
If they're telling you in all data, I would say it's probably you need to do that procedure.
Okay. And do you have to use their fluid? They say they do, but is that, I didn't know if you had to use their fluid or it was Dextron 3.
Well,
so if I take it somewhere, do they use it,
It depends on the shop. I mean, my personal preference is to use the correct fluid manufactured by the vehicle. There's so many different transmissions, even though yours isn't a CVT, you might get away with it, but I like to use the fluid that's supposed to be there, then there's no questions about it.
Unless there's a good, known aftermarket replacement that we as shops have used, we've tried it, we've tested it, and we know for a fact it works, typically the shops in the Colorado Select Group will go back to the factory fluid.
Yeah.
That's exactly how we all do it.
Yeah, because it can cause different shifting issues.
And you got two guys sitting in the room, and they're all, and Larry's on the other side of the glass. They're all going to say the same thing.
Right. Yeah. And so it's worth the extra price because you're not doing it that often.
Right.
And to get the correct fluid.
And one thing we have found with Subaru is when I call the parts department to get the fluid, they'll say, oh, well, which one do you have? Let me get the VIN off of it, stuff like that. And they'll say, oh, well, that's just Dextron 3. Or they'll say, okay, that is the special fluid, and you have to go that route.
And I've got a question. I'm going to look up real quick on my information, but does it call for a transmission fluid exchange at 18,000 miles?
It's in the manual. It says under heavy conditions to change it to 15.
At 15,000.
Normal conditions, change it to 30.
Okay. Well, then you have an.
So I live out in the country off a dirt road.
No, you would fit that. So
I thought, well, maybe I ought to it wouldn't hurt to swap it out. And there's no filter anymore. I wanted to get a filter, and they said there's no filter. So
yeah, not on that.
Yeah. So I've always changed the fluid in my transmissions for, on my cars for years, and at least once a year, and I get 270,000 out of my cars. So
that's great.
I mean, transmissions, everything. So.
Yeah, that shows what maintenance does. It gets you a long ways.
Another tip for everyone out there is
that I can't do this.
Yeah. Well, another tip for everyone out there is pay attention to the color of the fluid, especially when you're dealing with the factory fluid, because sometimes the VIN number will be wrong, and the color of the fluid is kind of what you want to pay attention to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, and I'm reading the same. I'm reading the same thing you are. And yes, if you're going to just do a drain and fill, there is a procedure to bleed the air out of the control valve. So, but again, if you used a machine that's just exchanging it, that would not be an issue because the transmission's running when it's doing that anyway. So you never have any air getting into it.
Okay, well, I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Great phone call, by the way, and just even a tip to us on the show, which sometimes we forget that even a new vehicle, 2012, that's a 15,000-mile recommended service on the transmission.
Right. On a Subaru?
On a Subaru. Yeah. So some of you out there listening that think sometimes we're overkill on some of what we recommend, that's coming right out of the manual. I just read it for myself. So 15,000 miles.
Is that for the first one or for every 15,000?
Well, I'd have to go through each one.
And the first one.
Which, by the way, we're running up to a break. I will do that. Let me look at that real quick. Jerry and Greeley, hang tight. You've got an airbag light question. We'll get you next. Don't go away. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560 Drive Radio.
At Extreme Auto, we're committed to providing the highest level of service possible to our customers. Our highly trained technicians are ASE certified and are dedicated to providing you with world-class service. We have years of experience working on both domestic and import vehicles of all makes and models, and will work with you to find cost-effective repair and maintenance alternatives. We don't have hidden fees, and we don't do unnecessary repairs. Serving Parker and the surrounding areas, come and see us, the professionals at Extreme Auto, and rest easy knowing you'll get quality work done for a fair price. Our promise to you, extreme service, extreme value, extreme satisfaction. Call us to schedule your appointment today.
Ever try to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
Ah, summer. A time of fun, sun, high temperatures, and the ultimate family road trip. Before embarking on the ultimate family adventure, bring your vehicle over to John's 4x4 Center on Arapahoe and Boulder for a little TLC. Our summer maintenance inspection includes pressure testing your air conditioning system, checking your coolant levels and tire pressure, testing your battery, inspecting your hoses and belts for cracks, cuts, and bulges, testing your transmission, power steering, and brake fluids. Having your vehicle inspected before a long road trip can keep you on the road. Not stuck beside it during your vacation. John's 4x4 is under new ownership as of January 2014. Stop by and see what's new. Located on Arapahoe Road, just east of 63rd, behind Carpet 1, we're open to serve you Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. with shuttle service and after-hours drop. Give us a call at 303-449-2640. Follow us on Facebook or check us out at johns4x4.com.
Hunting down that hard-to-find part for an out-of-the-ordinary car can be quite a time-consuming chore. Unless, of course, you just go around the corner to your local Napa Auto Parts store, where we have over 310,000 parts, all of them made to fit and perform just like the original. Yeah, there are people who say it's the journey and not the destination, but those people have never tried to find an alternator for an 82 Fiat on a Saturday. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
24 seconds. I timed it. It took me just 24 seconds to find a AAA certified master mechanic who offers the best peace of mind warranty in the state. A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every repair. At ColoradoSelect.org, I search my city and boom, I'm done. Colorado Select Auto Care puts their member shops through a rigorous set of requirements, so I know no matter which shop I choose, I'll get the best auto repair service possible. That's 24 seconds well spent. ColoradoSelect.org.
All right, guys, we have a lot of really, really smart listeners out there, which I appreciate very much. Just got an email from somebody that confirmed Dorsey's report on that oil shell being made in Qatar. I'll look more at that here in just a moment as we go to our next news break. But he also said in his email that Chevron should have a plant online very soon. So, very cool. So, yeah, all of you out there, you're very smart. Thank you. And by the way, all of you that send emails, tips, etc., never feel like you're stepping on our toes when you send something, even if it's something that's a correction to something we've said. There is so much stuff out there that we all have to know, remember, learn, etc., that when we're live on air, which, by the way, these aren't pre-recorded, yeah, sometimes we screw up.
Well, we're not perfect.
Sometimes we do. Just being honest. Sometimes it happens. So with that, let's go to Jerry and Greeley. We have a line open, by the way, 303-477-5600. Jerry, welcome. What's going on today?
Well, a friend has, I think it's an 09 Saturn with the airbag light intermittently coming on. He says it only happens in hot weather, and it seems to happen when he hits a bump. And he did some online searching, and supposedly a lot of people have the problem and claim that it's a module mounted under the passenger seat that supposedly cost $800 to replace.
You're not the first person that's called into this show with the same complaint and the same thing that they have found looking around and asking other people. So I cannot confirm that that's exactly what's wrong with it, but what you're saying makes a lot of sense as to what we've heard already.
Does that price sound reasonable, $800 for
given the fact that car is no longer made, yes, it does.
Yep.
Oh.
And I'm not aware of anybody remanufacturing or rebuilding those modules either.
Right.
So there's really no good economical sources to get parts like that.
Not to my knowledge, no. Right. And again, you probably, before you condemn that $800 module, you probably want to have somebody test it and see if there's any codes or information in there to point to that module.
And that takes a special scanner that's just for that system?
Well, you should be able to use, most of your aftermarket scanners, the good ones, Snap-on and those, will have that in their scan system, or the Tech 2, which is a GM scan tool, will have it in theirs.
Right, and the airbags have such a high liability that's I think one of the reasons some of those components are so high in price, that there is such a big liability there. Yeah, right.
Okay. Got time for another question?
Go ahead. Oh, yeah, you're fine.
Another friend of mine has a 2010 Prius, and he's got MS, so he can't do his own work anymore, but he went to AutoZone, I think. Anyway, somebody put in a new headlamp for him, and we noticed it was not aimed correctly. And I looked under the hood last night, and I could see that the lamp wasn't inserted squarely into the back of the housing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how those insert? Are those like a twist lock deal, or do they just snap in? Do you have any idea?
Usually they're a clocked position. They have a tab on the bulb. The bulb locks into or slides into the tab, and then the lock ring goes on the back of that. So if they didn't maybe get it into the tab right, but you need to make sure that gets fixed quickly, because if moisture in, and also we've seen them actually melt the housings where the bulbs get so hot. Right, exactly.
The hollow joints.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And those are a booger. If you don't get those in just right, you as a tech, you can think you've got them in and they're right, but if you don't hear that final little click that Ken's talking about, you know you don't have it in right.
And they're usually in some awkward position.
Yeah, you're standing on your head.
That's right.
And yeah, exactly.
Once the lamp holder is seated properly in the housing, is there any adjustment or aiming to be done to the whole house?
Shouldn't be. Yeah.
You can adjust those lenses, but again, if you just put the new bulb in, it should have held the adjustment.
That was the idea of going to that style of lamp from the old days, where a lot of times you had to take the ring and everything off, and you put a whole lamp in it, and sometimes it would be a little different, and you'd have to readjust. The new style lamps we have, you should not have to adjust.
But again, you can adjust them. Most of them are adjustable if you have the right equipment.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for the
You're welcome. Gentlemen. Thank you. We appreciate it very much. Line's open, by the way. Call us. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. And looking up the link to Shell's plant in Qatar, pretty interesting, actually. So it's a fully integrated, I'll just read this to you real quick. We've got a couple minutes. So the Pearl GTL is a fully integrated upstream, downstream development, capturing in one project the full gas value chain from offshore development through offshore gas processing, the conversion of gas to hydrocarbon liquids, and the refining to finished products. Up to 1.6 billion cubic feet per day of wellhead gas from 22 offshore wells is converted to gas to liquids using Shell's proprietary Shell middle distillate synthesis SMDS process built on 3,500 patents. From this, a range of high-performing GTL products is created, from gas oil, kerosene, and base oil to naphtha and normal paraffins for the petrochemical industry. There you have it.
All in English.
All in English. Don't ask me to say that any other language, because I can't.
You did quite well.
It's a pioneering innovation to increase the supply of highly demanded liquid hydrocarbons. So Pearl GTL products are virtually sulfur-free and have practically no contaminants such as heavy metals or aromatics. The paraffinic chemical nature ensures that they are highly biodegradable and almost odorless. So, back to the original caller. Is that a good product?
Sounds like it.
I would say so from just reading that, yes. Yes. And by the way, I just put a link to that article that I just read, or to Shell's website, on our Facebook page, which I would encourage you to use. If you're not using it, even if you're not on Facebook, you can still go there, look at it, look at the news we post on a pretty regular basis, facebook.com/Drive Radio. So it's just /Drive Radio once you're on Facebook. If you're a member of Facebook, please like us. Tell your friends and family to like us. We have well over 2,000 likes. We'd like to see that continue to increase. So if you know somebody that would benefit from the things we put up, and real quick, I'll just do our own self-promotion on Facebook. Things we put up there on a regular basis. I get Twitter feeds and RSS feeds, updates from the recall department of the government and NHTSA. So those I put up as I receive them. So typically you will see us put up recalls as soon as you'll see about any of them. In fact, some of them, if they're small enough, the mainstream media will never even report on. So unless it's a huge, 500,000 car recall, if it's 20, 30,000 cars, you're probably never going to hear about it in the media. I post all those up on a very routine basis. News articles, things that sometimes you guys will send me, i.e. what we just went over. I put all that stuff on Facebook, and we are updating it pretty routinely. There's very few days that I don't put something up on our Facebook page on Drive Radio. So I would encourage you, go there, view it, watch it. We put a lot of good information up, a lot of good articles, links to other things. Again, just for the recall side of it alone, you'll know quickly whether or not you're affected by a recall just by subscribing and looking at our Facebook page. It's an easy tool, guys.
Well, and it's funny because I think I heard on the news yesterday morning, GM recalling the recall that they announced yesterday has been, actually people got letters 7-8 months ago on it, so it's not nothing new, they just never got that. Exactly.
Yeah. So. And then, by the way, if there's something you think we should post, we want Facebook to be you. It's there for you as the community. It's not just us, us as far as Colorado Select and our sponsors here on Drive Radio. It's you. If you feel there's something that everybody else could benefit from,
sure,
go onto the contact page or go right to Facebook and post it yourself. A lot of you have done that. If you're a member of Facebook, you can post it up. If I think it's something that'll generate that'll benefit everybody else, I just move it right to the main page and off we go. So a lot of you are already doing that, but I would encourage you to do more of that. So let's go to the phones real quick before we go to the top of the hour. Marcy up in Fort Collins, what's going on with your Subaru?
Hi, I just got the air conditioner working. So they flushed out, I believe, the radiator fluid and put some Freon in there, whatever they do. And I just noticed that when I turned it on, it started running just a little bit rough. Just not real rough, but I could feel it vibrating,
sure.
And I didn't know if it was going to die or if I needed to do anything with the idle or...
Yeah, well, and what year Subaru is it?
It's a 2002.
Okay, and so how long has the air conditioning not worked?
I bought one of those little things from AutoZone, the little black bottles, and did it myself last summer, but I just, so since last summer.
Oh, okay.
And now that summer's over, I went ahead and that was smart.
Sure.
I just fixed it the other day.
Oh, sure. Well, and something like that, it is normal because there's extra drag on the engine when you click the air conditioning on. So it's something that's somewhat normal. Did it drop down significantly, or was it?
No, not really.
You just noticed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, in a lot of cases normal. I mean, you'll get a little bit maybe more vibration, and it's probably got a few miles on it, so maybe the motor mounts, or, you might be feeling it a little bit more than you would have when it was new. But, as long as it doesn't feel like it's really going to stall or anything along those lines, you should be in good shape there.
Okay, great.
Okay, Marcy?
All right, well, I will worry about something else. Thank you guys. I love your show.
Well, appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening, Marcy. Have a great afternoon. And with that, guys, we're at the top of the hour. News is coming up next. Don't go away. We got 2 more hours of Drive Radio coming up. Lots of stuff to cover. We want to hear from you, though. Lines are open. Call us. We'll get you right on there. 303-477-5600. John Rush, Ken Rackley, Ray Seidel, first hour in the books. We'll go on to hour 2 and 3 next here on Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
I might come here and waste all my time. Cause when you stand so near, I gotta lose my mind.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for their highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you will immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com. KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560, a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country station.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Brad James. The United States with a second airdrop of food and water for thousands of refugees trapped in Iraq's Sinjar Mountains. Pentagon spokesman Rear Admiral General John Kirby saying 3 planes dropping 72 bundles of supplies for the refugees, including meals and more than 1,500 gallons of water. The U.S. launching airstrikes in Iraq targeting ISIS terrorists and their weapons. The Blaze Radio's Tom Peace with more.
Retired Lieutenant General Tom McInerney thinks limited airstrikes will not get the job done.
I would have expected 100 to 200 targets hit today. I think we hit probably less than 10, maybe less than 5. I would expect to be over 200 targets. I'm not talking sorties, I'm talking targets to be hit. And I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but they better get up with a very aggressive campaign or this is going to fail.
McInerney on Fox's The Kelly File. I'm Tom Peace, The Blaze News.
This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
Everyone is making the switch to The Blaze to make it their source for the truth. Why not make it your source for the truth? Make TheBlaze.com your homepage for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to The Blaze TV at TheBlaze.com/TV or on Dish Network and get access to original programming like For the Record, the show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know. And Real News, the daily conversation on the topics of the day that matter most. Check out the Blaze Radio Network at theblaze.com/radio with original shows like Buck Sexton, The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson, Pat and Stu, and Jay Severin. Or, if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to The Blaze magazine. So, basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking The Blaze with you. This is The Blaze. Truth lives here. So just to recap, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking The Blaze with you. Find out all the ways at theblaze.com.
Freedom 560 with Ken Clark. Weekdays at noon on KLZ 560.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. She goes 4 miles, 13.40. 390 horsepower. 500 pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance limit is what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
All right, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it very much. Everyone that listens, calls, sends emails, etc., we appreciate it very much. Which, by the way, if you can't call in and you still have a question, you'd like us to get that answered for you, either on air, off air, however you want to do it, just let us know. Send me an email, John, John, at drive-radio.com, or you can go to our website, drive-radio.com. Just fill out the Contact Us page, and we'll get it right away also. So either way, we get those, throughout the show. We can answer those questions, and we do that a lot. So lines are open. Call us. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600, 303-477-5600. All right, guys. So, hey, we've had a lot of people in studio give this answer. But we want to know from you, who's the most famous car person you've ever met? Larry was just in here a second ago talking about Paul Newman, which I'd say that's pretty top.
That's pretty top. Yeah, that's tough to beat that one.
So Matt, you want to chime in on yours? Go ahead.
While I was in the service in 2003, I got to meet 7-time F1 world champion Michael Schumacher at the Grand Prix of Monaco, and I got to meet A.J. Foyt. And I said to you, I met him at the Grand Prix of Denver. Now, I saw him at the Grand Prix of Denver when I was in Milwaukee at the Mile. We got to bring out the flag and do it for the national anthem. And I got to meet him then, and that guy is just awesome. He is a character. He is hilarious. and we, as sailors, we just had a really, really good time with him. And
awesome.
The guy is just, he is everything that they say he is, just plus some.
Very cool. So we want to hear from you. Who are some of the famous car people you may have met? And by the way, I know a lot of you out there listening know a lot more people than even I do. So if you've met somebody really famous, call us, chat about it, 303-477-5600. If you don't, you just want to call in and chat about your car, that's really what we're here for. So again, I said this last week, I'm gonna keep saying this each week as I remember to. If it's Sunday and you're listening to us, which a lot of you do, and I know there's a lot because I get emails from you that do, we are not live. That's a recorded show. So if you're hearing me on Sunday, hearing us on Sunday, you can't call in. You can email. We'll still answer those questions, and typically I'll answer them even on a Sunday afternoon. So if you've got a question, send an email, john@drive-radio.com. But if it's Sunday afternoon, you're hearing the last 2 hours of Drive Radio, so you've just joined the program. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening, even on a Sunday. Those of you that can't catch us, and I know a lot of you'll pick us up via podcast, etc., that hasn't changed. You can go to our drive-radio.com. The only thing we've added is you can now go to SoundCloud.com and download the podcast there also. So we've got two ways to get podcasts, either off of our website or off of SoundCloud. As time goes by and our own internal server starts to get older, which it is, within the next 12 months, I'm going to move everything to SoundCloud just because it's easy, it's cheap, it's less maintenance, management, etc. We've been running our own podcast server now for about the last, I want to say 4 years roughly. And, those things don't last forever. So as time goes by, I'm already starting to kind of move those things over because it's cheap enough now, guys. We don't have to host internally anymore. Sure. SoundCloud is, by the way, a really great tool to make an app for your phone, your iPad, easy to find on the computer. You can stream it right through Facebook. So again, I go back to my Facebook comments a moment ago. If you're on Facebook, you can play them right through Facebook. I put them all up each week there. So lots of ways for you all out there to listen to us besides hearing us right here on air. So let's go to Jerry and Greeley, who's first. Jerry, what's going on today?
Well, I've got another question for another friend of mine.
Sure.
Who has a 2010 Prius, and he took it to the garage to the dealership where he had purchased the vehicle, and they gave him some sort of service warranty. So he was having them do the oil changes periodically, and he took it in for the last oil change that he had scheduled, and somebody backing it out of the bay tore up the whole driver's side of the vehicle, scraped all the front left rear fenders and both doors, and tore it up. And so this dealership apparently does body work, and I guess they're going to fix it for him, and they gave him a loaner car for a few days. But I guess my question in general was how are things like that handled? I mean, what's he going to do if he picks it up and the body works poor?
He asks them to get it done correctly.
And make sure there's a warranty on it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he has full recourse, and you want to make sure, to Ken's point, there's a warranty on the paint and body work that's just been done. And I'm not going to criticize anybody. All of us as shop owners, everyone in this room has had situations where, even personally, accidents happen.
Something gets hit.
Something happens. You run into something else. Somebody runs into that car. I've had customers run into other customers' cars. I mean, all sorts of things have happened over the years, and so. It just happens. So it's one of the risks of owning vehicles and having them out of your possession for any length of time. No different than a valet service or anybody else. And so, yes, if that happens, even if it's with a valet, you want to make sure that it's getting fixed. Now, if you really wanted to push and be a real jerk about it, you could demand that your own body shop fix it and it gets paid for that way, etc. I've kind of always been one to say, if they're willing to be nice about it, admit it, fix it, handle it, as long as when you get it back it's all correct, I don't think I'd worry too much about it as long as there's a warranty, as Ken just said.
I heard of an even more extreme case where supposedly a vehicle fell off the lift.
Oh yeah, that happens.
I mean, would that typically be a toll?
No, in some cases it's really not. Depends on how far they fall off. Now, depends on the lift, by the way. The newer style, external hydraulic lifts where we put everything above ground, bolt them to the floor. If a car falls off of those, typically they don't go too far because there's apparatuses in the way that don't allow them to really fall very far. Now, the old style racks that come right up out of the ground, yeah, if one of them falls off of that thing, they can just tumble right down on the ground or against a wall. I've seen all sorts of things over the years happen. Luckily, knock on wood, never in my shop did I ever have to have one of those issues, so that's a knock on wood. But it has happened, yes, and you just have to, again, it's just a damage, just like anything else. You have to go in and kind of figure out what got damaged, how, what's it take to fix it, and off you go.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again, Jerry.
You're very welcome, Jerry. Great questions, by the way. I don't know if that was the first time in 18 years of doing this, I think anybody like Jerry's ever asked, what happens if one falls off the lift?
Right, exactly.
I don't think we've ever covered that, guys.
Well, and again, we definitely been having little dings and damage along the way. Just
it happens.
In your business, it happens.
Right.
And normally you know the body shop that you're recommending or taking care of.
And in this case, if they have their own shop, etc., then.
Yeah, and it's their reputation too. I mean, because if they don't do it right, that's going to show everybody that they're not doing it right, and so they're going to do it right and do it just like they do all the time. So,
and like John said, the bottom line is it's your vehicle. You can have whoever want repair it too if you want to be that way. And you might have somebody that you prefer to do it. So
exactly. If you do that,
to do it, that shouldn't be a problem.
No, and if you do, then go for it. All right, Jesse's up next. Jesse, what's going on today?
We're currently on Route 76 off of 80 to Denver, and right now I'm in the passing lane, and I don't know if you hear the inside of the car, but it's pretty smooth.
Yeah, stay in that lane.
So I'm going to go to the other lane and listen.
Yeah.
You'll start hearing the
that one is terrible.
I just stay in the left lane and keep the steering until somebody comes up and want to pass me. But I think that's tearing up my car if I stay in that left lane.
Oh, well, it's just annoying to drive. And it definitely a little excess wear, but that's typically what I do if I have to just stay. I mean, unfortunately, stay in the left lane, but just keep an eye on your rearview mirror and just see if anybody comes up.
And I'm with you, Jesse. For example, right now on 36, they're doing they're doing road work everywhere. Well, they've got everybody, depending upon which direction you're heading, but right now eastbound 36 from Superior East, you're basically driving on what will be the shoulder of the road on down the road. And so there's all these storm grates that they've put on the shoulder for drainage, but you're driving over those things right now. And it absolutely just annoys me, and it's bumpy. And so I'm like you. I just drive in the left lane until I know there's somebody that wants to go faster, then I move over. But typically, I'm going to drive, in fact, through that construction. I'm driving in the left lane, doing speed limit, and if they want to come around me, they're in a construction lane anyways, then wait till I'm out of that.
Right. And that subtle stuff like that, it's more annoying. It's not really, it's probably not causing any excess damage or anything like that, but
it's just a pain.
It's just noisy and...
That's right. I'm with you. You're doing it right, Jesse. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I explained to my wife, I thought it was due to the service machine when they put the concrete down there. They had a bearing out or something was wrong with the machine when they actually put the concrete down for it.
No, I think that highway is just so highly traveled because that's the only way.
This is, what we're talking about right now, I should get into on my daily show, Rush to Reason, because I'm an asphalt guy. Now, I know they use concrete because it lasts longer and so on, but the wear and tear on your vehicle and the roughness of it and the noise and so on, I wish, and then all of US 36 right now is all going to be done in concrete. And I know they do it for longevity, etc., but I hate concrete roads.
Yeah. Well, and we can blame our lovely winters for most of those bumps because it just moves it up.
The concrete in general, to Jesse, to your point, depending upon how the machine is, how they're putting it down, etc., it's never going to be as smooth as asphalt.
Right, and it's I think it's just worn.
Very smooth.
Asphalt roads are always more smooth, and of course, there's always a big debate in the construction industry of, which is better, asphalt or concrete and so on. And, there's some guys back east that have developed some machines, this is just kind of a side note, where they can actually rotomill, heat up, add back in all the product they need, and relay a new road right behind them all at the same time.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty slick.
That's cool. Yeah.
In that case, you'd wonder, why are we doing any of this stuff in concrete?
Yeah.
But anyways.
I've also had it takes me every time I come out here, I have to get used to the red sand.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Jesse, up against the break. Thanks for calling. Safe travels. Be safe in that left lane. And, yes, move over as needed because nobody likes a slow driver in the left lane. But, hey, Matt, take us away. We're going to go to a quick break. Up next, Terry in Morrison wants a recommendation on an engine rebuild. And somebody else met Carroll Shelby. We'll be back with that next. Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each Colorado Select member currently offers Napa's Peace of Mind warranty, but are now also offering an extended 2-year or 24,000-mile warranty on repair work. You won't find this offer anywhere else. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-6272.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our driveline belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff. Napa Auto Parts.
After 30 years of business, Gino's Auto Service is expanding. Hi, this is Jennifer, and my dad owns Gino's Auto Service in Littleton. What does our expansion mean for you? Savings on all repair and maintenance services. We work on all makes and models, and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. At Gino's, we use genuine Napa parts and are AAA approved. Stop by and see the transformation at Bowles and Platte Canyon, or visit us online at Gino'sAutoservice.com. That's Gino'sAutoservice.com.
Your car performs better when things are simple, and it's easy to see how the maze of plumbing under the hood can slow it down. A K&N AirTake system replaces the maze with a single custom-engineered tube. The result? A guaranteed increase in horsepower, a dramatic increase you can actually feel. Visit K&N website to look up the extra horsepower available for your vehicle. K&N, an American manufacturer since 1969.
All right, and we're going to run right to the phones. Bob is next. Bob, talk about Carroll Shelby.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Let me get you off the speaker here.
No, you're fine. No problem.
Okay. Don't get me started about the roads up here in Colorado.
I won't. We were just talking about it through the break, so we won't.
Yeah. Anyway, I moved back to Fort Swain here in Arizona. Don't like the cold and the snow, so I head south. I'm not a snowbird, I'm a sunbird. I go where the sun.
Got it. Go.
Went to Bear Jackson one time. Cool. I go a lot every time I can. Early one Sunday morning, got out there before the crowds got there, walking down the line of Cobras, which they always have quite a selection of. And as I got down the line, an entourage, well, actually was about 4 people. The man in black with his hat, walking around, came around. I think it was his 80th birthday celebration, if I'm not mistaken, because it was, but he had several people with him that were following him, and he went down the line on the Cobras, and he was initialing. He would ask his age, which one is this? And they would read off the number and so on, and then he would open the glove compartment and initial the cover of the glove compartment there. It was really quite fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, I stayed back. I was so in awe of meeting this man. I mean, wow, seeing this man that close.
Yeah.
And, I did go up and just say, I didn't even shake his hand. I just said, you know, make some comments, some inane comments, you know, like that. But then the crowd started to see him, and boy, here they come.
Yeah, right.
He's just such a wonderful man, and you know, he truly is an icon. So
that's awesome.
That was my car show, and I really like you guys' show on Saturdays. I try to plan my work around the shop or the garage so that I can listen to you.
I appreciate that.
That's great. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Bob. We do appreciate that very much, and thanks not only the kind words, but thanks for the story. I enjoy hearing those. Sometimes on this show we take a little time out to hear some of that stuff, and there are some great old, famous people that did a lot for this industry that were really genuine individuals. Carroll Shelby being one, and that's not the first story like that I've heard, by the way. That's why I can say that. I mean, there are also some real jerks in this industry. So don't get me wrong, it goes both ways.
Just like any, yeah.
But he was not one of those. He was a very down to earth, very solid guy. And the reality is, most car people, true car people, are.
Yeah.
The majority of them haven't let it go to their heads. They've been solid individuals, and I've met a lot of them over the years, from racers to I remember going to Bandimers all the time, and Joe Amato, who was a big drag racer back in the day, very very famous and did really well for a long time. He'd come in the booth and just sit down and chat and talk, and just a really good guy. So anyways, lots of great guys. I want to hear more of your stories though. Who is the most famous person you've ever met? And it could be a situation just like Bob just talked, where maybe you didn't get an actual handshake, but hey, you were there, you were around it, you were observing, etc. I want to hear about that also. Terry's up next, and Morrison, what's going on, Terry?
Well, I'm looking to restore my father-in-law's old Pikes Peak race car.
Oh, okay.
And from what I understand, he's got a pretty rare car with engine combination, and I didn't want to take the engine just to any shop to get rebuilt.
What is it, Terry?
66 Biscayne with a 450 horsepower 427.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a really nice car. Well, and we've recommended these guys before, and I need to go visit them and see if I can get them as a sponsor of the show, because we do send them quite a bit of business, so I need to take some time. In fact, Larry, if you're listening, remind me to talk to Ridge Reamers, which we need to do. They know that engine combination, etc. I would highly recommend them. I would not hesitate to take my work to them to have them help you with that. And they will pretty much do whatever you need done. In other words, they will do just machine work, sell you whatever parts you need, or you buy parts and have them do machine work. They can do assembly, disassembly, however you want to do it. They'll do the whole 9 yards.
Okay, well, the car's been sitting since 1969.
Okay. Does it need rebuilt?
I don't know. I mean, I just got the car's sitting in my garage. We're going to start working on it here probably next month.
Okay.
I need somebody that has more knowledge than me with engines that I could take the engine into and say, here, tell me what I need.
Well, and really the easiest, and I don't want to try to steer you in a different direction than maybe you're headed, but really the easiest way to see how solid the engine is while it's still mounted in a chassis, where you can actually turn it over, check compression, leak down, all those sorts of things. Unless somebody's got a full dyno room, that stuff is hard to do out of a chassis.
Right. I would, and something like that, if it hasn't been turned over since 1969, that's a long time to be sitting. But I mean, if you can get a bore scope, look down in the cylinders, see how
a lot of rust in them and things look good, right. You could easily turn that thing over and fire it up.
Yes.
I've seen stories on the web, YouTube, etc., where cars haven't run since the 40s.
Sitting outside, and
gone in and revived them and got them running. So the nice thing about an engine is, once that cylinder inside is got oil, etc., that's inside of it, and so on, unless the thing's been in a flood where it's just been coated in water, typically speaking, they'll stay in pretty good shape.
Yeah, the seals, that's a different story.
Exactly.
But, reseal it. There's so many things that that can go wrong, but typically in a dry climate we don't get a lot of rust here anyway. So
you're fortunate that way, because to Ken's point, being where we're at, not a lot of humidity. If it were me, Terry,
there's hardly any rust on it.
Yeah,
it's been sitting outside for 40 years.
If it were me, I would work on it now in the chassis, see where it's at. To Ken's point, get a borescope. Those things are cheap. Look down inside the cylinders, kind of look through it, see if you can get it up and running, see if it smokes, so on and so on.
Right now, it doesn't have a carburetor or intake, so that's something I gotta find.
Yep. And you're going to need that anyway, so that part's not going to be any issue. You want to find that stuff. Now, you could also find all those pieces, pull the motor out, freshen everything up, put it back in, and get it running. It's just a matter of how you want to do things, and also how original do you want to keep things. If you don't have to go through a rebuild, it's going to increase the value.
Well, I noticed that it doesn't have the original engine in it from purchase.
Oh, okay.
It has the right engine for what they ordered from the factory because he still has the order form.
Got it.
Okay.
But they blew the original engine racing.
Got it. Yeah. Got it. So it's got the right engine for the car, but not the original engine.
That is correct.
So, yeah.
Which means it still should match numbers-wise as long as they use the same type of block and everything back in the car.
It's got a 66 block in it. Again, I checked all the
perfect.
numbers.
So you're in good shape.
The whole 9 yards.
That car's worth money.
Yes. So the intake was pulled off too? Is it dirty down inside the valley?
Because he was smart when he took the intake off. Or, I'm sorry, he took the carburetor off and duct taped over the top.
Oh, okay.
You're fine then.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I would say you're fine.
Yeah.
Well, if I could ask for one other recommendation, if you could, real quick.
Sure.
Is there any shop in town that you recommend for doing a full interior? Because sitting outside with a broken window those many years.
You know, I do have several, Terry. And what I will tell you on that is send me an email. Just go to our website, drive-radio.com, send me an email, and I'll recommend a couple of places you can go and talk to.
Okay, and you said the engine place was Ridge Reamers?
It's called Ridge Reamers, and I can give you that too. So just remind me of the phone call, and I'll give you both of those when you email me.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Terry. Great phone call, by the way. Appreciate it very much. Let's go to Jess, who's been holding the longest. Jess, what's going on today?
Morning, guys.
Good morning.
I've got a 2004 Explorer Sport Track. I've called in before, and it was just coming up on 75K, and I decided that, just start listening to spark plug changes because I knew that they said you can go 100K. But it just seemed to go, be a little bit long. And as I did a research on it, found out that the engine is one of those Triton V8s that Ford made from between 2004 and 2008 with the two-piece spark plug that tends to break off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and my story is I followed the TSB, and they all came out perfect, no problem.
At low miles, that's good. Yep, that's...
Yeah. I had never heard you guys talk about it. I don't know if I missed the show or times that you've talked about it, or if you just, this is just not something that's come up on the show before.
It's definitely come up, yeah. Well, I know we've talked about it before, but yeah, there's follow the procedure. The more miles you get on there, the less likely all of them are going to come out in one piece.
Better to change the
better to change it like you did. It's a 75,000. That's great.
Yeah, okay. The other thing was when I got the replacement plugs, put them in and put everything back together, I had a misfire on cylinder number 2. I was wondering, what did I do? Did I try the fuel rail? Did I put the coil in wrong? And I took another look at it and took the plugs out, the coil, and put everything back in, and was still missing. And so I put a spark check on it, and I had a good spark going across there.
Okay.
So I placed a spark plug, and lo and behold, the mist went away.
What kind of spark plugs did you use?
The Autolite HT ones.
Okay, so they somewhat original. Yeah.
Right. So I was just wondering, how often do spark plugs go bad out of the box?
It does happen.
Yeah.
I would say probably maybe one out of a couple hundred.
Yeah. I mean, it's rare, but.
Not as rare as it doesn't happen as much as it used to, so it's become more rare because the manufacturing process has gotten much, much better. But human beings are still involved in the manufacture of things, and anytime that is the case, there will be some issues.
Yeah, I was holding my hair out thinking it was something I did, and then when I replaced it and she smoothed right out, I thought, I was grateful for it.
Yeah, kind of a sigh of relief there.
Yeah.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, but the other part was, wow, this has never happened to me before. And I was just wondering if it had happened to any, how rare was it?
It's fairly rare, but it happens.
It does happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and those spark plugs, there's a lot more to those spark plugs than the typical one. So they're just
now. What I will say, and I'm not going to take a lot of time because we're running close to a break we need to get to, but now put yourself in the shoes of a shop owner who just had a technician. They did that, and maybe the car left the bay, maybe it didn't, but let's say it leaves, and the customer comes back a day or two later saying, man, you guys, this isn't any better than it was when it came in. Well, it just goes to show that sometimes a part failure, and it's not always the shop's fault, is my point, when those things happen. So you've experienced just what anyone in the industry has experienced over time.
Yeah, my word to all the listeners is if you have one of these engines change those plugs out because it's run into problems.
Yeah, good point.
Do it early because that job can triple or quadruple in price-wise.
I was seeing up to $2,000, depending on if the electrode broke off or not.
No, you're right. It can get very expensive.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Jess.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. We appreciate it. We got a line open, 303-477-5600. Give us a call, and we will get you right on air. In fact, got a couple lines open. We cleared those out. So we're going to go to a quick break. Come back. Next is Mitchell in Colorado Springs. Has a question on air conditioning on his 02 Toyota. So, and along with that, we want to know, who's the most famous car person you ever met? Had one great story from Bob. I'd love to hear more. Let us know what those are. John Rush, Ken Rackley, Ray Seidel, KLZ 560.
Do you know how many computers your vehicle has? At Arvada West Auto and Truck, you can tell how many there are. If your vehicle is a 1996 or newer, it may have multiple computers. Did you know that car computers get updated just like home or office computers? Arvada West is equipped to update most all vehicle computers. The process usually takes less than an hour and can help your vehicle perform efficiently. From a keyless entry to fuel strategies, this simple procedure can help prevent breakdowns and improve your performance. Call Arvada West Auto and Truck, 303-422-1065. Visit us on the web at ArvadaWestAutoandTruck.com or stop by 11752 West 64th Avenue, where every question is important.
Have you ever wished there was a place you could take your car, put it on a lift, and work on it yourself? My name is Craig Wallace, owner of DIY Auto Repair Shops. We have the lift, the tools, and the expertise. We offer a multi-tier program that allows you to do it yourself, technically assisted, or we can fix it for you. Check us out online at DIYAutoRepairShops.com or give us a call at 303-429-4000. Again, that's 303-429-4000. Let us know you've heard about DIY on Drive Radio, and you'll receive 50% off your first DIY hour. We look forward to helping you succeed repairing and maintaining your car.
Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every auto repair says so much more than, if it's not right, we'll try to fix it again. A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty tells me that this is a master mechanic who's confident, who knows what they're doing. I mean, nobody offers a warranty like that, right? Colorado Select Auto Care Centers do, and only the members of Colorado Select offer a warranty this good. Find a mechanic who's a member of Colorado Select Auto Care at coloradoselect.org.
All right, we're just communicating here in studio, those of you watching on YouTube, because it gets cold in here. This is one of, I told these guys, normally I wear jeans during the week because it gets so stinking cold that I want to try to stay halfway warm. And this weekend, you'd think I'd wear jeans on Saturdays. I'm here longer than I am during the week. But at any rate, all right, let's keep going to the phones. Mitchell is up next. Mitchell, welcome. What's going on today?
I have a 2002 Toyota Sequoia. My wife was driving the car. She heard a loud hiss. Then the air compressor started making a lot of noise. And when she got home, she parked it. I had Freon all over the floor. I took it to a shop this morning, and they checked it out, refilled it, said, you know, they have a vent system on there, too much heat, too much pressure. And so my question then is any ideas what caused it to vent?
Well, that's typically not something that would happen. You know, with a full charge, it shouldn't ever get over pressure unless a fan or something along those lines isn't working.
Right. If the cooling fans are not coming on, that means that the high side pressure is going to increase.
Yeah.
And once it gets to a certain point, it protects the system, and then it vents or that blows the excess of pressure off. So I would suspect something in the cooling system, either in the fans or the condensers plugged up or something like that.
Yeah. And with that, you know, a lot of systems have a high pressure shutdown. They'll get to a certain pressure and they'll just turn the compressor off instead of venting. But in this case, it doesn't do that. But, yeah.
Did
they want me to bring it back in next week just to check it.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, you need to go through and check that thoroughly and find out why did the pressures get so high.
Yeah.
And at these guys' point, the only thing that drives those up is when something's not cooling like it should be.
Yeah, or it's overcharged, but it doesn't sound like that could have been an issue.
Right, yeah, overcharged or air in the system can cause it to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the original everything, so...
Then we got a cooling problem.
Yep, you still have that. That hasn't been fixed.
Yeah. Okay, that's kind of what I figured.
Yep.
Can I ask you one more question?
Sure, go ahead.
I asked you guys about a 1999 Maxima several months ago. It's got 226,000 miles on the transmission. Would it pay me to, I refilled it checked and refilled it several times, but it's got a hard shift. Would it pay me to just pay for a flush on that system, or you think it's too old?
At 226, the only risk you're going to have is the money you put into the flush itself, because at that kind of mileage, if something's wrong, it's wrong anyways, and you're not going to change it by flushing it. On the same token, if it's got some dirt, debris, something along those lines, it's just hanging up in a solenoid, you might very well help it and make it better.
Yeah.
You're not going to do any more damage to it at 226, let's put it that way.
That's what I was afraid of, if I do any damage by flushing it.
No, if you've checked fluid and fluid looks good, it's fairly clean, I wouldn't worry about it. I'd try it and see what happens.
Especially if you've been changing the fluid, regularly.
Yeah, and here's the deal. So you spend, let's say, $400 to do a tranny flush. I'm just using round numbers. I have no idea what it's going to cost on your car down the springs. But let's say it's $400 and you get another year out of it. Okay, that's pretty cheap. Run it.
Exactly.
Who cares?
Yeah, you might fix it.
That's right.
$30 a month.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks, Mitchell.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate the phone call, guys. And one line open, 303-477-5600. Marcy up in Fort Collins is back with us. Marcy, what's going on with your Subaru now?
Well, I would like to know that. I don't know. The AC, I got in and turned it on, and it is not cold. And I was just digging around for my receipts from the nice car up here in Fort Collins to see what they actually
did.
Yeah,
was it cold? So it was cold yesterday, got it today, and now it's warm again.
Yeah, when I picked it up, it was, I think, 2 days ago.
You have a leak then somewhere.
Yeah, so got
that's why I brought it into them, so I didn't, so they could check the
So
leak.
they have not got the leak fixed at this point.
And the problem with the air conditioning, the leaks are really hard to find, unless they're big leaks, something you can do.
It sounds like yours is pretty big, though.
You might be able to find that one. So most of the time now, what we do is we actually put what we call a leak find dye. We put the dye in there, and then you recharge the system, and then run it, and then when it leaks out, the dye comes out, and you can spot it with a black light.
Which, by the way, again, not picking on anybody, but they should have already done that as part of this last procedure.
That's
So you
what
might.
I asked them to do, because I didn't want to just buy another canister. I wanted them to find out if there was anything wrong.
You need to look at the receipt and see if they've billed you for any dye or anything like that, and that'll tell you whether they've done what Ray just said.
They did an ACO ring, an ACR 134, AC Schrader valve core,
That's
labor ACE VAC, and recharge Freon.
Okay, so they did not add dye, it doesn't sound like.
And maybe it already
Evaluate it.
maybe it already had it in the system. Hard to say.
Right.
Okay.
What I would do is definitely give them a call, and I'm sure they'll want to take another look at it, and maybe now if there was dye in it, they'll be able to find it, or at least they get another chance to try to find the leak, being that it's leaking out in a couple of days.
Right, yeah, dang. Okay.
All right, Marcy.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. And by the way, Marcy, we have a shop in Fort Collins. It doesn't necessarily kind of coincide with a Subaru, but it's Fort Collins 4x4. They can still do the AC work on your Subaru. So if you're running any other issues and you're not getting anywhere, run it over there and they can help you.
And one comment for everybody out there on some of these air conditioners, the leaks are so small that it might take a week or two, or like you said, you might have to, maybe it's 6 months. So you have to charge it a couple times until that dye will get heavy enough on the outside so you can physically spot them. So, but normally we inform our customers that.
Well, you're normally charging for the dye if you're adding it. That's why I'm thinking in this case where they gave it to her.
But you're letting them know, saying, okay, the system was low. We couldn't find the leak. It wasn't obvious at this time. So we're putting a dye in. You drive it. If you notice, get warm, bring it back so we can recheck it. So you're giving that opportunity for them to drive the car to try to find that leak.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Gene. He's got a question on K&N. Welcome, Gene. What's going on today?
Well, I got a couple things I need to ask you about.
Sure.
First of all, I appreciate your program during the week.
Thank you, Gene.
What you say about your faith in politics and so on is like a breath of fresh air.
Thank you.
I get the feeling we're circling the drain, but you're sure coming around.
Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Thank you.
Been using K&N for probably 20 years. I've got a air filter on the air cleaner on a diesel, and I've been told recently that do not use a K&N with the turbo because the oil will transfer to the fins and the turbo.
Nah, that's baloney. What are you driving?
Excursion with a 7.3.
That works. Those work fantastic on that vehicle. So I don't know who's telling you that, and whoever it is doesn't have any knowledge of really how a diesel even works. Because even with a stock filter, you're going to get some blowback and some debris. What I mean by debris is some oil, etc., on the fins of the turbo anyways. So what they're telling you is not true. And I've got diesel guys, Ken especially, in the room. I'm an old diesel guy. You can take a stock diesel, stock air filter, etc., take everything off where the turbo's at, and you're going to see some residue inside of there. I don't care what air filter you're running.
Right. Well, K&N has actually done some testing where they've even super over-oiled their filters and didn't really have a problem.
Yeah, on that diesel, Gene, again, I don't know who's telling you that, but, it unfortunately, getting out into the world and talking to people is kind of like going on YouTube or Google. You get a lot of different opinions. In fact, and a lot of guys don't really have the exact facts. And or this is the other thing that happens. This kind of goes along even with my other show, Gene, is sometimes people get in their mind because somebody else told them something. Exactly. And they've never really sat down and researched and figured out what the real facts are, and so then they just keep perpetuating the same, myth or bad press that sometimes K&N gets. They just keep perpetuating that when in fact it's not even a true statement.
Well, it's kind of down the line, first rate, second rate, whatever it is. But
yeah.
I thought I'd give a call to the big owner.
No, you're fine. You keep using it. That's a great product, and just clean them as you need to. Which again, most times they're clean more than they should be. So you just keep doing what you're doing, and you'll be fine.
I got probably 20,000 miles on that filter. Cleaned it a couple times.
You don't even. It doesn't. That filter, Gene, even on that diesel, probably doesn't need clean until 30 to 40,000 miles.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. You're in good shape.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Gene, thanks so much. Thanks for your call, and thanks for your support during the week also. I do appreciate it very much. Line's open. 303-477-5600. Call us. We'll get you right on air. Alex is up next with a Cummins. What's going on, Alex?
My truck wasn't warming up to operating temperature, so I bought a thermostat for it, and I took the old thermostat out, and I've got the new thermostat sitting here, and it looks like the old thermostat has a bigger opening in the center, and it's also got a plate kind of on the bottom that looks like it sort of engages into something right inside where the thermostat sits.
And real quick, I should have asked this first. What Cummins do you have? 5, 9, 6, 7? What are you driving?
The 5.9 ISB.
Okay.
The new thermostat that you got, is that an aftermarket from the auto parts store, or is that the one from Chrysler? Or?
It's a thermostat from Napa Auto. It's
okay. The Superstat or whatever.
Yeah, it just says Napa thermostat.
Right. Okay. Even though there's a difference in the way they look, in some cases you might. Well, I mean, I would go ahead and put it in as long as it's the same size. And they usually put a temperature rating on them also.
Yeah, it's usually stamped on it.
Stamped on the base, usually on the brass part on the bottom anyway.
So, and I'm looking at a picture of this. So real quick, you're saying the new stat doesn't have the little plate on the bottom, which they may be using for anti-cavitation and some things along those lines. So your new stat doesn't have that restrictor plate, if you would, at the bottom?
It does not, and that restrictor plate thing is kind of on a little, not a very tight spring.
Right, it's on its own spring.
Yeah.
And I would just, I don't want to disagree with Ken, but you know what? In this particular case where you know there's a known configuration difference between the two, if that were me and my diesel, I think I'd go buy one down at the dealership and get the exact same one you've got now. Not to shortchange Napa, but I'd want to have that restrictor plate in it because it's there for a reason.
Excellent, awesome. And then I've got a second question for this diesel. The engine breather up front seems to put a vapor out on my radiator, and all these dusty Colorado roads. I've got like a load up of oil and dirt buildup on my radiators and inside my fan shroud. And
where's that coming from again? I'm confused.
There's a breather on the front, a crankcase breather.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that comes down at the front of the engine there, but just at the very front of the engine, you've got the vent tube coming down, right?
Yeah.
And that's blow by all over that. Just clean that off periodically. You're not going to be able to get rid of that. That's blow by coming out of the engine, out of the vent tube. Just clean that periodically. Go to the car wash, once a quarter or something like that. Just clean all that off.
Okay, and then do you think that do you have any tips on pulling that radiator out to give it a good power washing?
Not without disassembling everything to take it out.
Right, exactly. And be real careful when you're washing that, because if you don't want to get, a lot of people use pressure washers, and you don't want to do that on a radiator because it bends the fins. And
if you do anything with that, you can just take a regular garden hose.
Yeah.
Take like some 409 beforehand, spray it down on both sides.
Some kind of degreaser.
That's right. And then just take your regular hose from the engine side forward. You want to push the material to the grill, not from the grill in.
Yeah.
You want to drive it forward is what I'm trying to say, not from the front of the vehicle to the back. Right. You want to drive it from the back to the front.
Get it
that makes sense?
Yeah, that makes really good sense.
Yeah, and do it and I wouldn't disassemble anything. You'll get enough air. You'll get enough by doing what we're just talking about, doing it that way. Just put some good degreaser on it first. You use 409. There's stuff at Sam's and Costco, and any kind of good degreaser will break that stuff up, and you can just push it out.
Okay. Well, I've got the intercooler sitting in front that I can't really access the coolant.
No, but you won't have much behind the intercooler. That's what I'm saying. Just use a garden hose from the back forward and push as much of that out as you can.
Awesome. And
you'll be okay doing it that way.
And then, how do you guys feel about power washing the engine compartment?
I don't like doing it unless you really have to work on something, especially on a diesel. If you can avoid it, once a year maybe is about all I would ever recommend. You're better off not messing with it.
Okay, excellent. Thank you guys very much.
You're very welcome. Thanks a lot. Great questions, by the way.
Yeah.
One more coming up. John has a famous person answer to our Who Have You Met that's the most famous automotive person. We'll get to John in just a second. Line open, 303-477-5600. Right here on Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
We've all been there. You're under the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right part store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Temperatures and the ultimate family road trip. Before embarking on the ultimate family adventure, bring your vehicle over to Fort Collins 4x4 Center for a little TLC. Our summer maintenance inspection includes pressure testing your air conditioning system, checking your coolant levels and tire pressure, testing your battery, inspecting your hoses and belts for cracks, cuts, and bulges, testing your transmission, power steering, and radiators. Having your vehicle inspected before a long road trip can keep you on the road, not stuck beside it during your vacation. Fort Collins 4x4 is under new ownership as of January 2014. Stop by and see what's new. Located a few blocks north of Old Town on College Avenue in Hemlock, we're open to serve you Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30 p.m. with shuttle service and after-hours drop. Give us a call at 970-482-5500. Follow us on Facebook or check us out at FortCollins4x4.com.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
All right, and getting close to the end of our second hour of Drive Radio. Appreciate everybody listening, especially those of you that are here on Saturdays, and then those of you on Sundays. Also, we appreciate that very much. If you're listening on Sunday, you know that you're just hearing a replay of the show the day before. But again, you can email us questions, john@drive-radio.com, or go right to our website. Should say webpage, drive-radio.com, and send us one that way. John in Aurora has got an answer on the famous people. John, what's yours?
I don't think you're ready for it.
Let's hear it.
Got Big Daddy Roth.
Oh, really?
And Mickey Thompson.
Oh, Mickey Thompson. Good for you. That had to have been a while back.
Yeah. I started in the aftermarket at 16 years of age, 1 block from Irwindale Raceway.
Okay.
And we had a dragster. And on Saturday, all kinds of guys would come in for repairs there. It was just insane.
Wow. So did you get to meet those guys when they were not real famous, or had they gotten famous yet?
No, I don't think Mickey was famous. Mickey Thompson's father was a supervisor at a place called Thomas Engine in Pasadena.
Okay.
And Thomas Engine later became Commodore, which is an OE rebuilder for Ford Motor Company. I don't know if Fred Jones bought him out in Oklahoma City, if anybody knows what the hell I'm talking about. But no, because of that, the guy and his 3 sons opened this shop, and his dad was like his best friend.
Okay.
And they come by the shop a lot. And I remember getting famous later, but also the drag race connection met to hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And I actually met Ed Roth at a shop in Manti, Utah.
Okay.
He was building his last car, the Stealth.
Really?
Yeah. He had a house. I never went there because he was at this shop right down on Main Street or whatever. And one guy says, "Hey, you know who that is?" I said, "No." And he was over in jeans and a T-shirt, and he was on my regular call list and just made calls. And I sourced a couple axles for that car, but I don't know if he bought them because I outsourced it. So, but I met him about 3 times, and I was just in awe.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a real artist.
Oh, God.
You know, some car guys are car guys, some car guys are car guys and artists, and he was one of the latter. He understood both sides of it.
Yeah, he was just a genius. Unfortunately, of course, he's gone, and you know the story on Mickey.
Yep.
But I have hundreds of people, and
that's awesome. So what years were those for you, drag racing wise? Was that 50s or 60s?
It would have been 67 to about 70.
Okay, cool.
And we're Irwindale, just 1 block from the raceway.
Okay.
And these guys were all car guys. So,
Yep.
Do you have a transmission guy there?
Yeah, we do. You want to? I can put you back on hold and let you talk to Larry, or we can answer it for you. However you want to do that.
No, I just want to give another famous person that only he will know.
Well, he's listening, so go ahead.
Gil Younger.
Larry says yes. He's shaking his head yes. He knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, I've known him since the 60s. So.
Wow, that's very cool.
I was in the automatic transmission business.
Good for you. What brought you to Colorado?
A job.
Okay. What year? When did you come out here?
I came here in 1999, October.
Okay. All right. So you've been here for, almost 25 years now?
No, it's only 15.
Oh, 15 years. Oh, 2000. That's right. Okay, sorry, 99. Okay, 2000. Yeah.
I do some consulting.
Awesome.
I'm doing the shop tomorrow. But,
awesome. Well, good to have you.
Medical field.
Huh?
I said it's good to have you. Glad you're here with us.
Hey, Zach, listen to you, car guys.
Well, appreciate it very much. Thank you, John. We appreciate it very much, and thanks for calling in. Getting close to a break, guys. And by the way, lines open. Let's get them loaded up before we get into our last hour. 303-477-5600. And to John's point, and several others that have called in today, and all of the kind words. We've had many of those lately, by the way. And by the way, those aren't prompted. We don't go out and solicit, hey, will you call in and say how great things are on the show? No, we don't do that. As I say all the time, we do this show, we love it, we enjoy it. We've been doing it now for, gosh, guys, I've hosted for 15 years, and we've been on air for 18, and we've all been together for most of that time, and it's a lot of fun. So we keep doing it, and is it a sacrifice? You know, in some cases, yes, in some cases, no. Do we take some time out of our Saturdays to come do this? Yes, we do. Is it really a sacrifice? You know, I don't know. Is doing what you love a sacrifice? No, we all love the industry, so that's why we're here.
Yeah, it's just one more thing we do, just because we like to do it.
And that's really what I was trying to get to. You know, is it a sacrifice? Yeah, I guess it is. I mean, a lot of guys, yes, they sacrifice time, come down, etc. But I look at it a little differently. You know, I love the industry. Even though I don't own shops anymore, I still have a big fleet shop, and still am very much involved in the industry and what's going on, etc. Which, by the way, I'll throw this out. In fact, I got a phone call on this the other day. If you're a shop owner, I'm not any longer, but if you're one and you need some help or some guidance, some consulting, etc., I'll put a cheap plug in for myself. Call me. I'm more than happy to. I want to see guys succeed. I want to see shops succeed. I want to see folks do well. I've helped a lot of our Colorado Select facilities along those lines, and I would have no problem. I want to see guys get better, see the industry do better, and that's what it's all about. Us giving back is how things work. So yeah, if you're in that line and you need some help, etc., by all means, drop me a line, send me an email, however you want to do that. I've given that out a number of times today, so I don't need to do it again. But yeah, if you need help with your shop, can I fix it? I don't know if I can fix all of it, but let me just say this. I made enough of my own stupid mistakes over the years to know what not to do and what to do. How does that sound?
There's always that power of suggestion. And you do with it what...
That's right. I made a lot of dumb mistakes over the years.
The school of hard knocks, right?
So a lot of hard knocks. That's exactly right. I can tell you what to do and what not to do, for sure. Yeah. Sometimes more what not to than what to do. So.
And it's not like you never... It's not like you stop making bad decisions.
No,
I mean everybody
still
happen.
Yeah, that's right.
We're still learning.
Learn all the time.
Yeah, that's right.
If you don't change,
the guy that stops learning is dead.
You're right.
That's right. Exactly. That's the old saying.
That's
so if you're not learning and you're not growing, so yeah. Anyways, cheap plug, but I'm serious about that. If you're a shop owner, you need some help, etc. Maybe you want to know how to turn some things around or put some systems in place and make some things better where you've got a better bottom line, etc. Yeah, I can definitely help you along those lines. I'd love to. So if you need some help that way, call me, do whatever. Most of you know how to get a hold of me. It's not that hard to do when you're inside the industry. So guys, we're getting close to the top of the hour. News break. Blaze News Network coming up next, and I say this all the time, I mean it. They have some of the most late-breaking, out-of-the-norm news that you'll find. That, one thing I've noticed in the past several months is eventually some of theirs do make to mainstream. So sometimes they break stories nobody else has and will give you the real scoop on what's going on. So with that, we're going to go to the news. We'll be back. Don't go away. Call us. Lines are open. We'll get you right on for the last hour of Drive Radio, 303-477-5600. Who's the most famous automotive person you've ever met? Let us know who that is here on Drive Radio. I'm your host, John Rush, with Ray Seidel and Ken Rackley, and our engineer, Matt and Larry, on the other side of the glass producing for us. We'll be back. Don't go away. AM 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Persistence, toughness, and expectation of achieving success through hard work and perseverance. These qualities are part of the fabric of almost every successful salesperson, and successful sales professionals do not always come from a sales background. Sometimes they are simply very persistent people, organized, winners in general. They show an aptitude for sales and willingness to take initiative and follow a proven system to its conclusion. Here at KLZ 560, we're looking for 2 successful individuals that have these qualities and are ready for a new challenge in their career. If this radio advertisement is talking about you, send your cover letter and resume to nroach@crawfordbroadcasting.com. That's N as in Nicole, N Roach, R-O-A-C-H, at crawfordbroadcasting.com. KLZ 560, KLZ Radio Incorporated, and Crawford Broadcasting are equal opportunity employers.
Freedom, liberty, truth. KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Brad James. The United States with a second airdrop of food and water for thousands of refugees trapped in Iraq's Sinjar Mountains, hiding from ISIS terrorists. The president, about to take a long vacation, had these words to say.
Our initial goal is to not only make sure Americans are protected, but also to deal with this humanitarian situation in Sinjar. We feel confident that we can prevent ISIL from going up a mountain and slaughtering the people who are there. But the next step, which is going to be complicated logistically, is how do we give safe passage for people down from the mountain, and where can we ultimately relocate them so that they are safe.
The president going on to say the U.S. military is not the answer for the crisis in Iraq. This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
Everyone is making the switch to the Blaze to make it their source for the truth. Why not make it your source for the truth? Make theblaze.com your homepage for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to the Blaze TV at theblaze.com/TV or on Dish Network and get access to original programming like For the Record, the show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know. And Real News, the daily conversation on the topics of the day that matter most. Check out the Blaze Radio Network at theblaze.com/radio with original shows like Buck Sexton, The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson, Pat and Stu, and Jay Severin. Or, if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to the Blaze magazine. So basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. This is the Blaze. Truth lives here. So just to recap, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. Find out all the ways at theblaze.com.
Randy Corcoran at 5, Laura Ingram at 8, Monday morning on KLZ 560.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. She's got a quarter of a mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower. 550 pounds. Whatever that is. Performance and image is what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
All right, and I'm your host, John Rush, with Ray Seidel and Ken Rackley, who will be back here in just a moment. Took a little break, and we all do that from time to time at the top of the hour. again, just wanted to announce, I didn't do it the last hour and I should have, so especially those of you listening on Sunday, we will be out live on remote 2 weeks from today. So it won't be 2 weeks from Sunday, but 2 weeks from this Saturday, August 23rd, 9 to 2 p.m., the 8th annual Extreme Auto Car Show. So Extreme Auto Repair, who's a part of what we do here, Dennis Brewster, he comes on all the time. In fact, he was just here last week. He will be hosting his 8th annual big car show, open house, etc. It's at 10274 South Dransfeld Road in Parker, 1 block west of Parker Road between Main Street and Lincoln. Admission is free. Attendees will be treated to barbecued hamburgers, hot dogs, refreshments, giveaway for adults and children, and auto repair discounts exclusively distributed at the car show. Donations of non-perishable food will be collected for the Parker Task Force and Food Bank. So that's really important also. If you come out to the show, please bring some non-perishable food that we can actually put in the basket, if you would, for the Parker Task Force and Food Bank. So it's going to be a great opportunity to view some classic cars, fully restored, late model, early model. Really, you see everything. It's really just a blast. Every time we've done it, and Ray, you've been out there to it, it's just a ball. We have a great time, and congratulations to Dennis on the 8th year of doing that. But it'll be a blast. Again, we'll be there. We're going to be broadcasting live. Again, 10 to 1. We'll still be out there a little early. We'll have our tent and our giveaways and all the way the whole thing works. We come out and do all of that, and it'll be a lot of fun. So it'll be a blast. Come out and enjoy it. Meet us and say hi. Drag some friends along. Those are great family fun days to come out to. Matt and Larry, we'll make sure we send the smell of the burgers and stuff back over the microphone to you. I'm not quite sure how to do that yet. We got to figure out how to, when we're on remote eating a burger, kind of hurts for, that is the sacrifice that Larry and Matt make when they're back here and we're out on remote. So we talked about sacrifice a minute ago, and yeah, Larry and Matt definitely are the ones sacrificing when we do those things. But anyways, it'll be a lot of fun and make fun of that, but it's fun. It really is. I keep saying that, but we have a lot of fun at those events, and it's just great to be out in the community. So come by, say hi. Again, August 23rd. It's 2 weeks from today, but if you're listening on Sunday, it's not Saturday anymore, so it's 2 weeks from this Saturday. Come out and listen to us. Also, coming up right after Drive Radio, don't go away. Sportsmen of Colorado, they were on last week for the first inaugural show at the 1 p.m. hour. They're going to be back today. There's a fill-in host today. Trevin's coming in. Trevin Stoltzfus is coming in today, so don't go away. I may hang around a few minutes even just to kind of make sure things are rolling along with them since Scott's up fishing in Alaska. He didn't take us along. Scott, if you're listening, which I know you're not, but it'd been nice to have an invitation to that. That'd have been kind of fun. But
right, maybe next time.
I've been following him. He keeps sending these pictures on Facebook and where he's at and all this stuff, and I'm just envious. But anyways, Scott, I hope you're having a good time. Trevin will do a great job today. So, and by the way, you guys might even know Trevor. He was actually the Hunter rep for a number of years in our area, especially up north where I was, and he's now on a TV show. He's actually on TV. And anyways, we'll talk more about that when he comes on at 1 o'clock. But my point is, KLZ, even the weekend programming, a lot of great things. Some of you talked about how you even work your Saturday around us being on. Well, Sportsmen in Colorado coming on after us. If you do anything outdoors at all, you want to hang around and listen to that show. And just a great follow-up to what we're doing on Drive Radio. So we've now got this really nice 4-hour block of time to listen to KLZ, and a lot of the things that they do, we will dovetail with, because when you're doing something in the outdoors, you typically need a good solid truck, SUV, something to get to and from with. ATV, whatever. ATV, motorcycles, you name it. So there's usually some sort of a motorized piece of equipment that goes with hunting, fishing, etc. So we will dovetail in with them and have a lot of fun. But yeah, don't go away at 1 o'clock. You'll want to stop and or keep listening is what I'm trying to say. Don't stop listening to us. Keep listening. All right, guys. Back to our topics. By the way, lines open. Call us. We'll get you right on air. 303-477-5600. 303-477-5600. We'd love to chat with you. Call us. We'll get you right on air. What we had scheduled to talk about, let's go ahead and get to maybe a couple of those topics while we have time, guys. One of them is, and this is one I've been putting off for a while, but I wanted to get to. In fact, I had an email from a listener on this several weeks ago, so I thought, no better time than now to talk about this. what to do when your shop or a shop recommends additional work that your vehicle needs when you bring the vehicle in. So let's say you're bringing something in for routine maintenance, transmission flush and an oil change, and you drop it off, and they either call you, let you know the vehicle's done, and oh, by the way, Mr. Seidel, while we were looking at the vehicle, there's several other things we noticed. Would you like me to go over those with you? And typically Ray's going to say, yeah, go ahead. And so in that case, I would lay out, hey, well, we noticed the brakes are down to 230 seconds on the front, and you've got a slight leak coming out of the cooling system, nothing major, but here's where we're at, and so on and so forth. I think a lot of people tend to look at that negatively and think, well, this shop's just trying to rip me off. When in reality, now, there's no doubt, and by the way, every single industry out there, there are really good people in it, and there's really bad people in it, because that's just human nature. I don't care what industry we're talking about. We could talk about people that that are doing anything at all, medical to you name it, to the financial sector, to accountants, to I go down the list. There's always a good and bad in every one of those sectors, right, guys?
Yes.
Doesn't matter. So in our industry, if I were to sit here and tell you that everybody out there is 100% honest, I'd be lying, because no, there are some crooks out there, just like there is in every industry. Have we cleaned the industry up immensely in the last 20 years?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we have.
Yep.
Immensely. Due in part here in the Colorado area because of the show. Right. I'll be the first to say that. This show has helped clean a lot of that up in this area because we're out and we're visible and we're making sure things get done properly.
Education.
Yeah. My point is, when you get that list back, that doesn't always mean the shop's trying to rip you off. In fact, it's quite the contrary.
Exactly.
Typically speaking, they want you to know what's coming up on the vehicle and or what the vehicle needs, and in some cases, if they don't tell you what's going on with the vehicle, they have some serious liability issues.
Yeah. Yeah,
they really do.
Right.
For example, you bring the vehicle in for an oil change, and shop notices that one brake, maybe the right front brake is really getting close. It's almost metal to metal, or maybe it even is metal to metal. Maybe it's been grinding and you just didn't know it, or whoever was driving it just didn't notice it. Some people notice different things.
Right.
But it's metal to metal. If that shop fails to notify you of that issue, you take the vehicle, go out and have an accident, that shop is now liable for your accident. That's why it's imperative that they tell you that, hey, Ray, hey, Ken, that right front brake, you're down to metal to metal. I need to let you know that. Here's the cost to fix it. I can't make you keep the vehicle here and handcuff you into fixing it, but you need to know that's a problem. And I want documentation. I want you to sign off on it.
Right.
So I can prove I told you this. Again, folks, there's a lot of liability when we come to fixing cars. So sometimes the lists you get have nothing to do with the shop ripping you off. It's simply they're trying to protect their backside to make sure they don't get sued. And here's the real issue that everybody doesn't understand sometimes. You would say, well, Ray's never going to sue me. You're my customer, Ray, but I in my mind as no one, I'm thinking, well, Ray's never going to sue me. Or you the listener are saying, well, I'm never going to sue Ray. Well, that's what we have to worry about. If Ray's brakes are metal to metal and he goes out and has an accident, it's the guy he runs into that you have to worry about getting sued from, not Ray.
Right.
So that's why sometimes those lists are done the way they are, and typically speaking, the good shops will take that list and prioritize it for you, so that you've got everything that you need to know when to actually fix the vehicle and what it's going to cost. That's what a good shop does.
This we need to keep an eye on. Don't need to really address it at this point. This is important. This is
an emergency.
This is emergency. This could cost you more in the long run if we don't do something with it. Things along those lines.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to add is these grocery lists, as I call them. If they're giving the grocery list and not fixing the original problem, that is a big red flag.
That's right.
Right. Exactly.
That's the ones where
unless I want to add one thing what Ray just said. Unless they're coming back saying, Ray, you know what, you brought this thing in for XYZ, but you know what?
Yes.
I got a laundry list on this car are you sure you want to keep this car?
Yeah, well, sure.
I mean, is this really something you want to really invest this much money into on down the road? Because look at what we're going to have to do over the course of the next year. That's the only exception to what you just said.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, and two, we wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't report this to you.
Right.
You know, so don't, you know, I've had people get up, well, seems to be getting upset with me, but they're not upset with me. It's just, you're right, exactly. And I look at it like I wouldn't be doing my job if we didn't at least let you know of this, and this is what, you know, this is, these things need to be addressed at some point.
Let's take one call before we go to a break. Randy in Boulder, what's going on, Randy?
Hey, John.
What can we do for you, man? I haven't talked to you for a while. What's up?
I'm considering picking up I think it's a classic vehicle, 71 Jeep Commando. It's all original. It's got 43,000 original miles.
Okay.
And the guy's asking 89 for it. And I'm just, how do you evaluate something like that?
Those have never done very well in value. And I don't think they're going to in the future because we've been waiting for 30 years for them to increase in value, and they really haven't. That is one vehicle that even I thought years ago someday would become desirable and would really increase in value. And honestly, Randy, they haven't.
Okay.
So that'd be one I'd really, really pay close attention to. How good a condition's it in? What's been done to it? What do you need to do to keep it running? Because that's not a hot item.
Okay. How do you determine what's the best way, other than, Mecum, Auto Auction, Barrett Jackson?
And even those you have to be careful with because sometimes the auction prices can get inflated because, we as guys get into these contests and bidding wars where we want to outbid the other guy just because we say we can. So you have to be careful of those a little bit. Reality is, look at all the sources that are out there. Hemmings typically is a pretty good place to look. Just do your research. And if worst case, worst comes to worst, send me an email and I've got an appraiser I can send you to if worst comes to worst.
Okay, so 8,500 or 89 for a vehicle like that, all original, no rust.
On a Commando, I wouldn't pay that.
Okay.
Not just me personally, I would. Now, I'm probably offending somebody by saying that, and the reason being, Randy, is they just have never brought that much money.
Well, and something too with the classic vehicle, what is it worth to you? What That's probably the better question. Right, exactly, because the value that it is to somebody like John is definitely not the same as what you're looking for. So
yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at it, or if you're looking at it as, if I bought it today, what would it be worth in 10 years?
Right.
8,900. I mean, it may not even be worth that. That's the problem with that segment, Randy, is they just have never gone where I think the auto world thought they would.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's why I called you guys. Thanks, I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for calling in. Not a problem at all. All right, let's take a quick break. We come back. Derek, you're going to be up next. You've got some comments on that Cummins thermostat, which is great. We'll take that. Don't go away. Line's open. Call us. We'll get you right on air. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
We've all been there. You run to the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right part store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
After 30 years of business, Gino's Auto Service is expanding. Hi, this is Jennifer, and my dad owns Gino's Auto Service in Littleton. What does our expansion mean for you? Savings on all repair and maintenance services. We work on all makes and models, and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. At Gino's, we use genuine Napa parts and are AAA approved. Stop by and see the transformation at Rosenfeld Canyon, or visit us online at Gino'sAutoService.com. That's Gino'sAutoService.com.
Are you driving with the check engine light on? Has that light been going on and off? Arvada West Auto and Truck is here to help you understand what could be wrong. Our technicians are specially trained to handle warning lights. If your vehicle is a 1996 or newer, it stores a history that helps us diagnose the problem, even if the warning light is not currently on. Don't wait until your vehicle breaks down and leaves you stranded. Call 303-422-1065. Stop by 11752 West 64th Avenue or visit us on the web at ArvadaWestAutoandTruck.com, where every question is important.
Have you ever wished there was a place you could take your car, put it on a lift, and work on it yourself? My name is Craig Wallace, owner of DIY Auto Repair Shops. We have the lift, the tools, and the expertise. We offer a multi-tier program that allows you to do it yourself, technically assisted, or we can fix it for you. Check us out online at DIYAutoRepairShops.com or give us a call at 303-429-4000. Again, that's 303-429-4000. Let us know you heard about DIY on Drive Radio, and you'll receive 50% off your first DIY hour. We look forward to helping you succeed repairing and maintaining your car.
Ever try to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
All right, Matter Engineer playing some good burnout music. Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Let's go right to Derek in Inglewood. Derek, what's going on?
Oh, not much, John. How you doing?
Doing great.
I just want to join everybody else and say I enjoy your show. I listen every Saturday, so yeah, definitely enjoy that.
Thank you.
And my comment on the thermostat was, I don't know if it specifically applies to the Cummins, but in old internationals I've worked on for years, what that bottom plate is it blocks the bypass to create the bypass so the car will warm up.
That's what
if you don't use that in there, then you're not going to get the car's never going to reach operating temperature quickly.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, and we even talked, by the way, which I'm glad you called in, because we were talking through the break after that, just saying, not knocking, Napa and that particular part, etc. But I'm like you. I've done enough diesel work where if the part doesn't look like it did from the factory, unless they've made a known update to it, I'm just one that says go back to the way that one was originally.
Well, when I buy Napa all the time, and with internationals, I run into the same thing. There's very few companies out there that make the proper bypass block-off plate thermostats still. And like I said, I don't know if that applies to the Cummins, but I'm assuming it's the same thing.
I think it does. We were talking through the break, and Ray actually made the point. Napa's making, that thermostat probably fits, I don't know how many different vehicles, a ton.
Yeah.
Now the question I threw out to these guys was, I'll ask Napa personally, they're probably listening, is, okay, why don't you make one specific for that particular vehicle and go put it on the shelf and be done with it? It's not that big a deal. You're a billion-dollar parts company. Put it out there.
The problem you run into is you just replace the thermostat, so you're thinking that can't be the problem,
Right.
You don't have the correct one in there, and then in the winter your car won't warm up.
Good point. Yeah. No, that's a great point. In fact, what Derek just said, that's a point to remember, even for some of you do-it-yourselfers. Sometimes what you just did, if you didn't do it the way it was supposed to be, might cause a future problem. It's a great point.
Yeah.
Derek, good stuff. Appreciate you today, John. I appreciate the show.
Hey, man, appreciate you calling in. Awesome stuff. And he makes a great point. And I should have known that. That's exactly what that's doing. That's helping for the warm-up cycle of the diesel. It's forcing the bypass. Forcing it to bypass is what I should say, to make the engine warm up faster in the wintertime, which is exactly what it's doing. So yeah, and again, I keep saying this, but it's true. We have really, really smart listeners.
Right, exactly.
We really do. We know there isn't and I mean this sincerely, everyone listening, there isn't a week that goes by that either in the prepping of the show or doing the show itself, I don't go home learning something I didn't know beforehand, and I'm the guy guiding the ship.
You're right.
So I hope all of you out there listening feel the same way. There's never a weekend I don't leave here not learning something I didn't know before. Right. Sometimes it's from the guys on air, sometimes it's from you as listeners, either or, again, sometimes it's studying, so far today we've learned about thermostats for the Cummins that didn't match on the Napa side of the fence, which we'll figure out maybe on our own. We also learned where natural gas turned into oil is made in, which we didn't know coming into this show.
We didn't even know where Qatar was. We knew where the vicinity, we just didn't know.
So, you see,
now we do.
I laugh at that, but, we do. We learn a lot on this show, and that's what this show is here for. Now, we know this show is also here to promote all of the sponsors, the Colorado Select facilities that are a part of it, etc. Yes, no doubt. If those guys didn't exist, if we didn't have sponsors, Drive Radio would not exist. Just like if KLZ didn't have commercials that ran through all of their other shows, they wouldn't exist. I mean, this isn't rocket science. It takes money coming in. This isn't the federal government. We have to have money coming in that exceeds the money that goes out.
That's right.
If we were the federal government, we could do it the other way around, but we're not. We have to have more money in and less money going out. And the way that works is you all out there either buy parts at Napa, use K&N filters, use some of our other sponsors, buy insurance from Paul. I could go down the list. You're doing something along those lines, or most importantly, you're going to one of our Colorado Select facilities, coloradoselect.org. You're finding a facility, or you've already found that, and you continue to use those facilities that are a part of our network. Those are the guys that really pay the lion's share portion of this show. So it's because of them we're able to be here every single solid week. And on top of that, two of them are here today. Actually, three of them are here today. They take time out of their Saturdays. They come down here, and they do the show and talk to you all on air. That's what makes this thing happen. Right, guys?
Yes, that's exactly it. Yep.
And are we thankful for that?
Oh, very good. Yes. When we enjoy it. I mean, it's something we've done, and we enjoy doing it.
And by the way, we're going to, this isn't like, okay, John, what are you telling us? Are you done? No, we're not done. We're going to continue on. There are no plans to stop. I told everybody when I sold my shops exactly 2 years ago that I wasn't going to stop doing the show. I haven't. We're going to continue to keep doing it. I have no plans in the near term to stop doing it. How long will I do it? I don't know. I'm still a pretty young guy, so I've got a lot of life left in us. So we're not going anywhere. We'll keep plugging away, and as long as you all keep listening, keep using our sponsors, keep visiting our Colorado Select facilities, we will keep doing this, right, guys? Yep. And we also know, and you've called in today. We've heard from some of you. And, there's a lot of do-it-yourselfers. We get that, and we're not, we were all, before we had our own shops, we were that and still do a lot of that, even in other areas. I mean, I'm a do-it-yourselfer when it comes to fixing washers and dryers. I don't ever call an appliance guy. I go home and fix it myself. So I get where a lot of you are coming from. We will never, ever belittle a do-it-yourselfer because you're not coming into one of our shops, because we also know that the time will come, the day will come where something is over your head. Yeah. And you're going to need some other advice, a piece of equipment, a tool, etc. All I'm hoping for is that when that day comes, you then go to coloradoselect.org, use one of our facilities, let those guys help you out, and then off we go. That's really what we want. That's our whole desire, right, guys?
Exactly.
Did I leave anything out? Nope. Okay. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, I do want to talk about tires. There was an article on one of our local news stations here not long ago. Actually, Scott Watley from Haystack Help got me onto this. We talked about this in length on a Haystack show, but some of you may have missed it. There is a tire age stamp on the side of tires, and there's some debate as to how long tires should actually run, or be used, I should say, according to their age. We'll talk about some of that as soon as we come back next. Don't go away. John Rush, your host, Ray Seidel, Ken Rackley, Larry Unger on the other side of the glass, along with Matt, our engineer. We'll be back in just a moment here on Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Have you failed an emissions test and don't know what to do? Have you been trying to fix it yourself? Arvada West is your answer. We score 100% on our success ratio. That's confidence for the customer. We are always willing to explain the repair process to you. It's a proven diagnostic format that we have developed since the emissions program began here in Colorado. For an honest, understandable, and reasonably priced diagnosis, stop by and see us. We've helped clean our Colorado air since 1981. Call Arvada West Auto and Truck 303-422-1065 or see us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com. If you would like to stop by to make an appointment, we are at 11752 West 64th Avenue.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in Boulder? At John's 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From big trucks to diesel pickups, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to John's 4x4, located on Arapahoe Road, just east of 63rd, behind Carpet 1. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at John's 4x4 Center are committed to providing the personal and professional service you're looking for. Give them a call at 303-449-2640. Check them out on the web or follow them on Facebook at johns4x4.com.
Have you ever wished there was a place you could take your car, put it on a lift, and work on it yourself? My name is Craig Wallace, owner of DIY Auto Repair Shops. We have the lift, the tools, and the expertise. We offer a multi-tier program that allows you to do it yourself, technically assisted, or we can fix it for you. Check us out online at DIYAutoRepairShops.com or give us a call at 303-429-4000. Again, that's 303-429-4000. Let us know you heard about DIY on Drive Radio, and you'll receive 50% off your first DIY hour. We look forward to helping you succeed repairing and maintaining your car.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
All right, there's a big debate even internally on how old a tire can get before it actually becomes unusable. We'll get into that in just a moment once we take this first caller. Real quick, I do want to tell you that the way to know how old your tires are is there is a four-digit numeric code on the side of all tires made for the last, 10, 15 years at least? Probably 20 years. Yeah. So really, most vehicles on the road today, you're going to find a tire, a date stamp on the side of the tire. And what it is, and the way it means, it's real simple. If a tire code on the side of the tire, for example, said 0612, that means that was made in the 6th week of the 12th year. Yep. 2012. Yep. Okay? That's what that means. Yeah. If it is the, 26th week, it'll say 2614. That means it was just made this year. Yeah, exactly. June of this year. Yep. Okay, that's how you know how old the tire is. It's not rocket science. Right. But it's easy to figure out.
It's only on one side of the tire, though. They don't stamp it on both sides. That's right. It's usually after it says DOT, and then it's in a oval, a little groove. Yeah, it's in a special.
That's right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. But we'll talk more about that in a minute. There's still debate out on that. We're going to chime in on what we think you should do. Ken actually has a great question even on his own that we're going to help answer. But let's go to Mike real quick. Mike, what's going on today?
Hi, fellas. Hi, Ray. Hi, Mike. My sponsor. I got a 2002 Tahoe Z71, and I came out of dinner the other night, and the driver's side mirror kind of popped out of the shell. Okay. And I went, oh, great. So I kind of shoved it back in. It worked for a little bit, and then it didn't, and so I push it back, and it works a little bit. It moves. You can move it, and it's fine. Is that, and this is a two-part question, is that just a socket that shoves in there, or is that something I can do on my own, or do I, I know if I take it to Ray, it'll get done right. But, I might take a shot at it myself. What's your thoughts on that?
Normally there is a socket or some kind of retainer that holds that mirror in, but if it just kind of popped out, it's usually made of plastic, so it might have broken one of the retainers that's on the mirror. You'd really need to inspect the mirror and the
You think somebody popped it or ran into it when you were at the restaurant?
Yeah, there's no mark on the mirror, but somebody bumped it or something.
I think Ray's on the right track. It probably broke one of the little retainers that's in there.
And again, if it's not damaged, it should just pop back in if you get it in the right position.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think I'll have you look. A quick aside on your tire discussion.
Yeah.
Education on tires is a great thing to have consumers understand what they're buying. I would suggest as well as the date, traction weight, temperature, and wear rating education is a wonderful thing. Somebody's trying to sell you a tire and it's 300 wear rated, and you say, I need something to go for 5 years. You're going to get sold a bill of goods there.
Yeah.
So anyway, just
good point. No, we should do that.
Things are right there.
That's a good point.
It doesn't hurt. Those are simple to understand because they're letters and numbers. And they sure do help when you're looking at tires.
You're right. You're very right. Mike, appreciate the phone call, and I'll do some research and even see if we can't get a I know we're tire experts on here, but you know what I mean. We'll see if we can't get somebody from one of the manufacturers to maybe even come on and chat and do a little more education that way, because there is a lot, and there's a lot of misconceptions about tires, and a lot of times people are just sold what's in stock, right? Not what they need. Yeah. That's another topic for another day, but let's go to Gary, who's next. Gary, welcome. What's going on today?
Oh, I just wanted to touch bases and do a little name dropping.
Let's do it.
I was the chiropractic physician for the track dispensary at PPIR for all the time it was open.
Okay.
And I had the great blessing of treating Sarah Fisher, Emerson Fittipaldi, and a number of other NASCAR and IndyCar drivers.
Wow. Well, it's kind of like being, the trainer for the Broncos or the doctor for the, what's the guy's name? Antonopoulos. It's kind of like being him.
Well, Steve is somebody I know, and he is just a real blessing to that team. He's the head trainer.
Yeah. You're as a side note, Gary, you're right. We're very blessed that way, or they are, to have somebody of his caliber that's been around as long as he has and take care of the players the way I believe that's part of the success they've had.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I don't know whether you ever noticed. I'm sure you've been to PPIR. That track dispensary set right in between turn 1 and turn 2, and the windows opened out on it. Yeah. And it was wonderfully air conditioned. And we could sit there and watch the races and take care of the drivers and the crews and all that kind of stuff. It was a neat opportunity.
Very, very cool. That's awesome.
That was what actually I do have a question, if I may.
Sure.
I have a 93 Wrangler. It's got 200,000 miles on it. I have a 92 F-250 4x. It's got 360 on it. And should I switch to synthetic for those?
On the first things first, on the 93 Wrangler, what engine's in it?
It's got the high output 6.
Okay. The 4-liter? 4-liter, yeah. On that one, I'd be more inclined to run the 1540 diesel oil in, just because that's a flat tappet camshaft engine. So that's not saying you can't run synthetic, but I would run more of you want more zinc in the oil is what you want to get, to help the flat tappet camshaft last longer. So that one's kind of unique, and everybody else listening, close yours. That just applies to that particular vehicle. The 92 F-250, yeah, you could convert over to synthetic in that, and no problem, it would work great.
Well, is there something I should do?
Oh, it's personal preference when it comes to synthetic oil. Everybody on this show, I think we finally have gotten some synergy around that, or consistency across the board from all of our shops. We have all learned enough about synthetic oil to know that yes, it is a superior product. Period. It will last longer. It'll extend drain intervals no matter what you're talking about. And typically speaking, it pays for itself. So it's not even a cost difference when it's all said and done. Given that, yes, I pretty much run synthetic in everything we can, except for some particular vehicles like your Wrangler.
Right. Okay. And could you tell me the Wrangler oil again?
You just use a good. What I mean by good is, Rotella, which is Shell, Chevron, they make a Delvac, Mobil, any of those at all, in a 1540 weight diesel oil is what I would run in that Wrangler.
Okay, we'll be doing it.
Okay.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it. And thanks also for the great story.
Yeah.
It's just, guys, it shows you the listenership that we have and where some of these guys and gals have come from and the experience level they've got, and it just baffles me. Some of the people that sometimes we think it's just us three we're talking to. Right. There's a lot of people out there that are a lot smarter than us that we're talking to. Dustin is up next. Dustin, what's going on today?
Hey guys, I've got a 2007 Toyota Tundra. Added into the shop, getting some work done, and I don't know, maybe a month later, I was under the hood, and the intake was loose to the throttle body itself, and it's dirty in there.
Okay.
And I know it's been a while since I was in the automotive industry, but I just want to make sure. I know I can clean in there with the engine running usually, but what's a good product for doing that?
For the intake and the carbon and stuff is what you're trying to do?
No, for the throttle body
For the
itself.
throttle body. Well, they actually, I know Napa makes a product it's an aerosol product that is specifically made for cleaning the throttle bodies. And it's kind of a foam, a small can where you actually foam it, and it bubbles away and clean that for you.
Yeah, and you want to wipe out, of course, that stuff first before you wipe out as much as you can first.
Actually, in your case, I'd go one step further and take a shop vac and suck as much out as I possibly could, and then do the wipe out like Dan's talking about.
Yeah.
How much dirt, how much got in it from that being left loose?
It's hard to say. We just definitely dusty.
You can see it, trace it.
And how long do you think that went?
Maybe a month. Maybe, and so in miles, maybe 300 miles.
Yeah, okay, that's not too bad. You should be fine then.
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned with the longevity of the engine or anything like that. It's just that.
Yeah, you want to get cleaned out.
Ready now.
Yeah.
And by the way, one thing too that while we're on that subject, and this is kind of unique to you, so everybody else listening doesn't necessarily apply, but I also would take that entire intake tube off and clean both ends of that, because you'll find there'll be dirt past the air filter since that was open. So I would clean that whole tube and the throttle body.
Right, makes sense. Okay.
Get it all out.
Just get it all out of there.
Yep, definitely.
All right, Dustin.
Guys.
Thanks so much for the phone call. I appreciate that very much. We appreciate it very much, I should say. All right, line's open. We'll have time here once we'll talk for a few minutes, go to a quick break, come back, and we'll finish out the show. We got time for a few more calls. Call us. We'll get them all set up. 303-477-5600. Famous car people that you've met in the past. We'd love to hear from you. All right, so guys, let's finish up our tire discussion. And you, whoever called in, Mike, I think it was, called in and said we should just do an entire show devoted to this. We could, and we probably will in the future. But for now, let's just kind of finish out. So, Ken, you had some questions even through the break on what do you do? So explain to the customers your dilemma.
Well, and
explain to the listeners your dilemma.
Sure, and I have a truck it's a 2008, and it's got 31,000 miles on it. So it's going on 7 years old at the end of this year. So with that, we've got 31,000 miles on it. It's on its first set of tires. They're getting down there, so they're needing to be replaced. Well, I wanted to go with a good set of Michelins, and the Michelins that I've been running on my Suburban that we drive the heck out of, they get 75, 80,000 miles out of them with no problem. But if I put those on the truck and spend the extra dollars on that, is it going to be something that time is definitely going to run out on those.
Right. And you're going to exceed the year longevity of the tire before you'll wear them out.
Exactly. And still have, because I'll get double,
So stop for a minute. We've got time. Let's talk about this for a second. And I know this is not, I can't make a blanket statement for every Colorado Select member, but in this room, what do you guys feel is a good round number to use for longevity on the tire? In other words, how old can a tire get before you have to look at replacing it, where the wear may not be, it may not be totally worn out, but the date says, hey, I need to get this replaced. Where do you guys feel that needs to be? We know what some of the tire stores recommend, but what do you guys think?
And I kind of feel it's looks. I mean, the sidewalls, and I know that's kind of not really easy to go by with the way things are made nowadays, but I don't really have a time
for cracking.
Right, exactly. Anything in the tread, anything along those lines, all over the tire.
Because there are tire stores, and Ray, you and I were talking about this a moment ago, that'll say it's 6 years.
6 years.
You just need to replace. In fact, they won't work on it.
They won't even. Right.
They're using the 6 year. And for me, I think it kind of has to do with how you're using the vehicle. I mean, again, if you're out there in construction or a lot of weight and stuff, then you definitely maybe want to go into that 6 year range because you want the maximum, life of that tire or the safety of that tire. But again, if it's somebody just putzing around town, I don't know if you can say just because the tire is 6 years old, you need to replace it.
And hold that thought, because I don't think you can either. We're gonna talk to Doug. Go to a quick break. I've got notes from what I looked up on actual deaths from tire age, or tires in general, that I looked up when I did the Haystack show. I don't have it in front of me. I'm going to look it up when we go to the break. So let's take Doug, and I'm going to come back with some facts and figures that may change everybody's mind on how long that tire can go. Let's go to Doug real quick. Doug, welcome. What's going on today?
I'm just on Interstate 80 driving back to Iowa, just enjoying your show.
Well, be safe.
I am. I'm a mechanic back there, and I just wanted to make a comment on the Ford Spark Plug.
Sure, go ahead.
We bust a lot of those off, and we put nothing back in but Champion. It's called a Champion one piece. It's about if you look at it, the little pencil tip in thing, it always breaks off. On those Champions, it's about 3 times thicker.
Oh.
And they'll never break.
Okay.
You gotta ask for them, because usually they don't have them in stock, and we have to order them in.
Good tip.
That's good to know.
Yeah, so are you a Ford tech, Doug?
No, just a general auto repair shop.
Okay.
I actually owned the shop for about 35 years. I just sold it, and I'm coming back from my cabin in Wyoming.
Awesome. So you're still wrenching, though?
I still wrench. I work for the guy part-time on my farm.
Got it.
So,
What part of country are you from?
Iowa City.
Iowa. Well, great.
It's about 70 miles from the Mississippi River.
Well, you be safe, hey, not only thanks for the tip, but thanks for listening to us.
Yeah.
Hey, great. I'm enjoying your show.
And you guys, and by the way, you guys in the city around you, or whatever, tell them all they can still listen to us, through all the normal channels, through your iPhone. You can listen, stream it from the station's website. You can listen to podcast, and down the road, if we could find the right setup, we'd even team up with some other stations, and we could go nationwide if we found the right stations to help us out.
Hey, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it very much. You bet. Yeah, great info, guys.
Yeah.
So I wrote that down, and we'll remember that.
Yeah, you'll have to definitely check into that.
All right, we're going to come back in just a moment. Don't go away. Don, we'll get to you. I'm going to bring some facts and figures on how many actual tire deaths there have been, or major accidents there have been. I'll give you those facts and figures as soon as we come back. Drive Radio, John Rush, your host, Ray Seidel, Ken Rackley, AM 560 KLZ.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
Hunting down that hard-to-find part for an out-of-the-ordinary car can be quite a time-consuming chore. Unless, of course, you just go around the corner to your local Napa Auto Parts store, where we have over 310,000 parts, all of them made to fit and perform just like the original. Yeah, there are people who say it's the journey and not the destination, but those people have never tried to find an alternator for an 82 Fiat on a Saturday. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment, or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
I'm going to teach you right now how to find a good, honest mechanic. Ask about the warranty. Their warranty will tell you everything you need to know, because their warranty is their word. And Colorado Select Auto Care Centers all offer the best warranty in the state. 3 years, 36,000 miles on every repair. Always select a Colorado Select Auto Care Center at coloradoselect.org. 3 years, 36,000 miles. That's all you need to know.
Plug him in. All right, we're bringing Trevin's coming in right now. We're going to plug him in, get him going. You got headphones you can plug in here someplace? Plug him in. I can't unplug that. That's going here. Plug him in over here somewhere. You got long enough cord. We'll get him on, and we'll get to talking about some stuff. All right, so I'm going to give you some facts and figures real quick on tires that are older than 6 years of age that have had problems. Here's the real numbers. All right, y'all listening? 252 incidents, 233 fatalities, and 300 injuries. Not in 1 year, not in 5 years, not in 10 years, 20 years.
Yeah.
So 233 deaths in 20 years, involving tires that are older than 6 years. So do we need legislation or anything to handle tires that are over 6 years of age? I can tell you right now, the facts tell me no.
Yeah. Yep, it says it right
there. And by the way, Trevor, I forgot, I did not know this. You are still the Hunter rep, which means you're still in the industry.
Yeah, I still am. I still am the Hunter rep, and I'm still.
Hey, Matt, make sure Mike. What number's on the side of this mic?
6.
Make sure 6 is up. Oh, 6 is dead. We can't use 6. Okay, we got to move him around. Everybody, hang tight. We're gonna shift some things around in the studio, and we'll just shift. Why don't you guys just shift seats real fast?
It's just easy to slide.
Yeah, just slide over. There we go. There we go. Now we go. Perfect. All right. Sorry about all that, everybody listening, but hey, we can do things on the fly.
That's right.
That's not a problem. So you are still the Hunter rep.
I am still the Hunter rep.
Still in the industry, which alignment, tires, all that is a big deal. So give us your thoughts on tire age.
Wow. When that Firestone debacle
with Ford,
what happened? And Exploder. Explorer. I mean, there were so many people thrown under the bus on that.
And it's all customer lack of air.
Right.
They designed the tire pressure that way for a soft ride.
Right. And my grandpa taught me to check things and double check things. You don't point the finger at somebody else when it's your fault.
Right.
But we live in a society that's so happy that here we have an issue that's not an issue.
Right. Yeah. I don't think it is either. Let's take a call real quick. Let's go to Don and Aurora, and we'll finish up with this in a second. But Don, welcome. What's going on with your Xterra?
Hi, gentlemen. Enjoying the show.
Thank you, sir.
I've got about a half hour to listen to you, and I didn't have a chance to call you at that time. I was in the car about your checklist from your shops.
Yes.
And thinking about a road trip, probably down to Texas now. Do I need to talk about something else besides what's on that checklist to get ready for something like that?
No, and really what we're talking about on a checklist is how really a shop has an obligation to you as a customer to make sure that they're checking things bumper to bumper. Now, when it comes to doing a trip check, the reality is it ought to be getting done every time the vehicle's in anyways, because if a shop and a technician is really doing his job correctly, he's going to look at your vehicle bumper to bumper anyways just to make sure things are really up to speed. Now, are there other specific things that you can check for road trip type situations? Yes, there probably is, but really, if somebody's maintaining your vehicle properly, my theory always was with my technicians, and I used to always push them, that you know what? You never know when that customer is going to make a road trip. He could have an emergency tomorrow, could have a death in the family, and have to make a 1,000-mile road trip tomorrow. Is his vehicle going to be safe enough to make that happen? If not, then you're not doing him the right service. So if you're going to the right shop, that should be getting covered anyways.
Yeah, I've gone to Dorsey. Been there for several years.
You're in fine shape if you're doing that.
Checklist every time.
Yep, you're in fine shape. You don't need to do anything extra.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know whether I need to check whatever. Nope. But yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Appreciate the phone call. And guys, I didn't add that to what we said a little bit ago, but that's really the facts.
Yeah, you're right.
If the technician's really doing his job right, and the shop's doing their job right, well, that car should be ready to go. To your point, it should be ready to go at a moment's notice.
Right. And I was listening to you guys I was pulling in here, and you were talking about this. And I'll be honest, there's so many technicians and service riders, if you will, that are burnt because that's their job, is to present the facts. Now, it's great when you present good facts. Right? Looks great. Looks good. Hey, you do not, your brakes, you've still got probably another 5,000. I mean, that's good. But you got the flip side of the coin is you got to tell them when it's not, and therefore you get, okay, that's something I need to address.
Right. Yeah. Right. And to what Tristan's saying is it's not always good news you're delivering.
Right. Most of the time.
It's not, and a lot of times, we all know. Everybody, and I have a big fleet shop, and I get this, and I'm the owner, and I understand the mechanical side, and I've been in this business my whole life. Does it always hurt to get that checkbook out and have to write a check for something? Yeah, it does. Sure. It's never fun unless it's a toy.
You're right. Yeah,
something you enjoy spending money and time on. If it's just your daily, grocery getter, etc., you really don't want to spend money on that. But the reality is, you don't have a choice.
Right. And it's something that. It's so important to keep that reliable because if it has to be towed in because of something that wasn't done, that's going to cost a lot of time and a lot more
That's right.
A lot more.
Well, I brought up something this last week, and again, I'll kind of finish the show out this way. I don't want this to be controversial because it was this week on my other show, and I don't want that to be here, but it is a fact, and I want to make sure everybody out there has the facts and knows what's going on. In the state of Colorado, we passed a law last year that went into effect August 1st, which allows any illegal alien, undocumented immigrant, however you want to say it, use whatever PC terminology you want to. Everybody around here knows who I am, and I'm not PC, but anyways, it has allowed them now to go down and get a driver's license. In the past, that's not been allowed. They now will have a driver's license. The estimates are there's roughly 10,000 already queued up. Larry told me he thinks it's close to 50,000. And there's a total of about 200,000 of these individuals in the state of Colorado right now that will be applying for a driver's license as soon as they can get queued up to get one. What does that mean for you? It's going to mean more people on the road, more traffic on the road, and my prediction, I'm sorry if I'm stepping on toes, I don't mean to if I am, but what it does mean is I think you're going to see a lot more unmaintained vehicles on the road. Sorry, I'm just giving the facts. Why do I say that? Because it takes at least $1,500 a year to properly maintain a vehicle. People that are coming here illegally typically don't have that kind of extra cash kicking around to pour into their vehicle. So you're going to see under-maintained vehicles on the road. You're also going to see, and this is a fact, I don't care what anybody says, this is a fact, people that come from south of the border. There's something that happens there's something that happens north of the border that doesn't happen south of the border. It's called this white stuff that falls from the sky, snow. Driving in snow, if you're not used to it, will present some challenges. Just like when people move here from Arizona or California or places where they've never been in snow before, also causes issues. My point is take a brand new driver, somebody that maybe didn't ever drive much before in their home country. They're now here, they're driving, and it snows. Add 200,000 of them to our current roads, are we going to have more issues? Yes. Sorry. I'm just giving the facts. Don't shoot the messenger.
You're right. Exactly.
That's my feeling. I haven't seen anybody yet that's been able to dispel my feelings. And as I said Thursday, I'm a car guy. I know the cars. I know the figures on what it takes to maintain a car. You guys in this room, my figures aren't far off.
And I grew up 40 miles from Mexico.
Okay.
The Mexican, and I say Mexican not in a derogatory term at all, the Mexican mentality of upkeep on a vehicle is very different than ours. And so what happens is when you get into a situation where you induce more moisture, et cetera, you compound that.
Yeah. No, and again, I'm not pointing fingers. I just want you all that are listening to know. I don't think most people even, this law was kind of one of these things that there wasn't a lot of press on.
Yeah, there's no press at all.
Most people didn't know this thing even happened, but as of the 1st, so this week, people were running down there, and they have to make an appointment, by the way. It costs them more money to get a license. They have to make an appointment, etc. And part of what got my gander up Thursday was there are people now that are complaining they can't get one fast enough. And I'm thinking, wait, we just gave you a don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Isn't that the old saying? Just be thankful for what you've got. But at any rate, guys, we're running out of time. Ken Rackley, TuneTech, give them your number, where you're at, how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, out in Aurora, 225 Colfax area, 303-364-3391.
And Ray?
Yeah, I'm in Lakewood, 303-986-5202, 1801 South Wadsworth.
And I will plug Larry. Larry's Automotive. He's over in the Westminster area, 72nd and Bradburn is actually where he's at, and he is our resident transmission expert. Him and Jeff Kitty, they do a fantastic job over in that area, and Larry can't speak because he's usually on the other side of the phone taking your calls.
We just don't let him.
Yeah, we just don't let him on air, but that's not true. He's actually hosted a couple of the Haystack shows with me and has done a great job. Yeah. No, you actually, when you call in, Larry is the guy you're actually talking to, and he does a great job for us. But guys, with that, we got to get out of here. Safe driving, everybody, especially with what I just announced. Sportsman's of Colorado coming up next. What are you going to talk about?
We've got a huge show. We're going to talk about the upcoming season, recap the Train to Hunt, and we're going to talk about the debacle that was over-the-counter license with Caps Tuesday that happened this last Tuesday.
Didn't know anything about that.
Oh.
Okay. Well, we'll have to stay with. Like I said, guys, you're going to want to keep listening to KLZ. Do not turn that dial. Stay here. Great programming all the way until now. 2 o'clock. So stay with us. I've been your host, John Rush, for Drive Radio. God bless everybody. Have a fantastic week. Please listen to me during the week. Rush to Reason, 2 p.m. every day, and I'll see you Monday. Take care. Everybody have a great week. 560 KLZ.
I'm like over here, wasting all my time. When you still so near, I'm down my mind.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.